Yes, sir. Because I'm currently overseas. That's why.
Okay, gotcha. So, look, I put it like this. When I saw your request thing, I said, whoa, this is all, because I'm usually doing music and stuff like that. So it means a lot to kind of be able to talk a little bit about, the Kyrgyzstan elections or whatever. Are the elections over right now, or is it ongoing?
No, it's actually just starting. There's a lot of variables to what I'm doing. Actually, it's the reason I'm just going to tell it like it is. What I'm doing is historic. I mean, I'm going to be the first American, let alone the first African American, to actually be in a. Basically, it's not the typical political position, but it's dealing with the government and the parliament of the country. I'm kind of like what do you want to call a very high-placed advisor to the president. So I'm going to be basically dealing with all of the American, England, domestic and foreign affairs, and actually stuff that you would see as far as with similar to what you would see with the affairs in the United States, and when they go and see the world leaders
would you call it like not Secretary of State, but like maybe an ambassador type of thing, or is it what's the equivalent in America? Maybe
Well, the equivalent in America, I'm actually like 3 jobs in one. I would be considered higher than the ambassador. I would be like the minister over the ambassador of the country. I would be the representation of what they would see America in their country. Even though the ambassador technically holds that position, but what the president would put me in, he would put me to where I would actually help the economical structure of the country as well in business.
And you're from America?
Foreign and domestic affairs. Yes,
you're from America?
I was born in North Carolina. Yes,
you're from North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Okay.
I was born in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina. And
okay.
It's very interesting.
So here's the deal. I'm capturing audio right now, and I've got a few things I've got to get knocked out over the next couple hours. But if you don't mind, what I can do is this. I'm capturing audio, and then we'll do a little bit, right? And then what I can do, and matter of fact, we'll package this up as its own little YouTube video by itself. Just, you know what I'm saying? We'll start.
That'll be fantastic. That's what I was going to ask. Like, if you could do video, that would be great.
Yes. So now look. So here's the deal. What we'll do is I sent you my email. As matter of fact, write this down so you have it. Because do you do regular email from where you're at? Mr. North Carolina.
Oh, yes, I can do. Well, yeah. I mean, you could actually what you could do, sir, if that's okay. I mean, the number.
Yeah.
You can basically you can text me. You can text me the email, and I can text you back from my campaign email. I'm just using a regular Gmail because I know a lot of people are used to that. Gmail is from here.
Yeah. All right. So let me see if I got go ahead.
And actually too, I'm sorry to interrupt. I actually publicize in America too, which I'm actually publicizing a lot of American articles right now, about 70 of them, a little bit more than that. I can actually send you those links as well, which are pretty well-known links. But a lot of people don't know about me yet because until I actually get to, I want to say, the pinnacle to where I start being around the presidency, and then that's when I think everybody's going to start noticing me because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm the only black face there, so I know it's very noticeable. So,
well, look, give me because I just tried to text it and it didn't work. So go ahead, get it even. And I think
what I'll do, I can send you the email. Hello, can you hear me? I'm gonna send you my email now.
Oh, you're about to email me
right now. Let me know. Well, I mean, I'm gonna send it to you right now. Like, let me know if you get it. I'll send you the one I'm using for the campaign.
Yeah, that works.
I'm almost done right now. There you go.
All right, let me do a
got
refresh.
it.
That's what I'm loving about the modern technology. We are way beyond the rotary phone and the courier pigeon.
Yes, sir.
All right, I get to find out how many seconds does it take for an email to come from Kyrgyzstan to Kyrgyzstan is a country, right? Or is that a city with a country?
Yes, no. It's a country. Kyrgyzstan. It's right between China and Afghanistan. Well, right now I'm actually in Afghanistan. I'm finishing up. I also do business as well. I'm finishing up, and then once I finish up here, I'm going to Dubai. And then once I finish up in Dubai, I'm going to meet some of my associates for the campaign in Kyrgyzstan. And then I have to go to the magistrate, and I have to do a couple of different things, which are very different for a lot of people, which I'm going to be doing as well.
So while I'm waiting for the email to come through, and I'll be able to tell you to come through, let's at least establish two quick things, okay? All right.
Okay.
So, all right. So this is the Matty Ellipsis show, and I'm on the line with Antonio. Okay, wait. Let me go to it right. Let me do this right. I'm screwing up. Okay. Thank you all for listening to another segment of the Matty Ellipsis show, and in this segment, I have the privilege of talking with somebody who is, when I got this information, I was perplexed. I was very, I'm like, wow, I must be privileged to have somebody like this want to sit down and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? This lowly guy. All right. So the gentleman's name is Antonio Robinson, and what you're going to hear is going to tell you this, a brief summary of an amazing story, and it looks like this is something that we're going to be interacting with him for a while. So, Antonio, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
There you go. So, I don't want to screw it up, and so while I'm waiting for the email to come through, you saw my email, right? Email address, you saw it in there, right?
Oh, okay. Did you just sent it to me?
No. Did you see? Wait, you said that I have not seen an email yet from you, but I can.
I just sent you my email. Oh yeah, I just sent you my email from your phone and everything. When you you texted to me.
Oh,
you left me a message. I just texted. Yeah, I texted.
You texted it
so you could see my email. Yes.
Oh, I do see it. You know what? Now I do see it. Okay, now I do see it. Okay, so this is good. So let me just type this in real quick.
No problem. And that's a direct link to me, or either one like I have. You can call me. That's fine. I just kind of want people to actually get familiar with me and actually see something. I'm just going to say is going to be unique, because I know a lot of people are going to have questions, so I'd rather get the questions out of the way before I have a million. Because I know a lot of people are going to ask me, how did this happen, and where did I come up with this idea from?
That's what I'm talking about. So tell me, how did this happen? Where did you get this idea from?
Well, it really started with just a love for the country. I've been in the country, going back and forth in the country since 2002, when I really just had a kind of deep relationships with a lot of locals. And a lot of the locals I did not know personally actually had government positions and were very, very, very connected in the, I want to say, in the parliament. So dealing with that, I mean, a lot of the views and points and stuff I made across, and I did a couple of things business-wise that were really small. I don't think they were very insignificant, very complex, but they were very grateful. And I had a couple of people that were in very well-endowed positions and wanted to say, hey, I mean, would you mind supporting, something abroad? And I said, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I was like, I have my sister. She's called my Eche, which is in Kyrgyz. That means older sister. She basically, I've known her for almost well over 15 years, and we just created this great relationship. And her brother actually is one of the presidents of the region, which that's what he grew into, which is close to like the president of the country. So in having that relationship, a lot of other things came into play. My name started coming across certain tables, and they said, hey, we want to really put you in this, and they just pushed the envelope and said, let's give it a try. And fair enough, they had the president to come down this year, which was surprising. And I had one of my associates kind of just grab me and say, Antonio, it's your time. And I'm like, I mean, what do you mean? And they were like, no, I'm serious. Like, we need to get you into office. Let's see if we can do this. I mean, from there, it's just been
I just got a quick question. But wait. Well, how was it even possible for an American to hold office in? That's what they want. You said they want you to be in an office, right? Like, a political office.
Yes, sir. It's very complex. It's very complex. Technically, in their constitution, I cannot be in the parliament, but I can be associated with the group. Just like when somebody goes into the military, right? Like if you go in the military, you're technically a part of the government, but you're not the government. You're associated with it. You're the military. So it's similar to what that is. And just like when the military goes to other countries and they position themselves on a base or installation, that's exactly the equivalent of what I'm going to be in this country. But I'm going to actually be helping stimulate economically how the country actually builds towards other countries and relationships. That's basically the foundation of what I'm going to be doing. And that's what they are giving me as a chair. I'm going to be the head of that, which they're giving me. That's coming straight from the president-elect.
So, the president-elect, so the election is over? Or is
No. The election is actually going through. Actually, the president's election is going to be in January 10th, which we have some investors and everything making sure that he's associated and he goes through that. And then once he finishes his election and he's president, we're going to have the parliament, which is part of the campaign, which I'm a part of a party, which is the Yamat Party, YMYT, which you see on my email.
Oh, that's the email. It means YMYT.
But in Russian is UMUT, which is Umat, which is basically hope. That's what the
interpretation of it.
That's
so
what
you're the hope party. You're the hope party.
Yes. It's very interesting. I tell people it's like, trying to explain my position is hard because it's never been done. And that's
and
the
it should be
kicker
like this.
to what I'm doing.
What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to adjust my mindset to grasp to grasp what you're doing, because I recognize the awesomeness. When I saw when I saw your message to me through Matchmaker.fm, I did not know. First of all, I had no idea I was going to be, get this type of person. Like I told you, I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So, I got other requests. Hey, I got some music that I want you to listen to my music. So that's normally so. But world politics or politics around the world is such an interesting thing. And you said you're from North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir. I'm from. I was born in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I have some family that right now are in Havelock, North Carolina, or what they call Cherry Point, North Carolina, which is a military marine logistics base, which I was born from two Marines. So
you're a military brat, as they call it.
Yes, that's what they call it, or as my mom and dad would call it, the devil dog. I'm a devil dog. I was born from.
You're a devil dog. Okay, gotcha. Well, I happen to be I am a military brat maker. So I'm a retired master sergeant from. I've been in the Army for 20-some years. Right. So what I have had the privilege of doing during the time of during my time in the military is I've been a paralegal, and what happened is that I voted in Bush versus Gore. So that election was the first election I ever voted in, right? And when I started to, and I was paying attention, because on the military side of the house, you're paying attention. You end up finding out that domestic things or domestic issues, taxes, jobs, minimum wage, immigration, racial stuff, whatever. Mm-hmm. Domestic stuff is just one piece of the pie, because during the Bush time frame, that's when 9/11 happened, right? So then you get this. I got this whole education of that there's a world outside of just. Now take this out. Now I think you're black, if I'm not mistaken. Both of us are black people, or considered black, right? So now I get a chance. During the Bush presidency, I learned that there's a little bit more to America and governing America than America and how great we are, right? B, the fact that our ancestors were brought from Africa. So that's pretty much where my brain was always functioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a former slave and I'm in the military, right? And so now, I learned about Afghanistan, and then we end up going into Iraq, and then that, of course, brings up other things. From that time period up until now, I don't know a lot of stuff about politics in other places, but it's so interesting to me how we interface with other people. Our Secretary of State is going around doing whatever. So I have such a great what you're doing. Just seeing what you talked about in your message to me, I recognize just the little blurb. I wanted to say that so you can understand that the awesomeness of what you're doing. First of all, thank you for doing that, and I'm proud of you. No problem. Okay, I'm proud of you because I don't know how old you are.
I appreciate it.
How old are you now?
I'm 37 years old. I'm
oh
very
my
young
God! You're a young man.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, they call me baby. I get it. Yeah. I mean, when they first see me and then they hear my voice, it's like, hold on, like you're not that old. I'm like, yes, I am. So you're not that old. There's no way.
Well,
I'm telling them yes.
Do the people in Kyrgyzstan and Russia or wherever you're at, Afghanistan, do they know that black don't crack? Like, is that something that translates into? Yes, sir. I mean, they definitely know that we have some youthfulness to us, because of our melanin. But I tell them it's more than just that. I mean, you can still look old, if you're black or white. It doesn't matter. I tell them it really is on the individual. And a lot of times I've seen that. I mean, I've seen people that are my age that look 10 times older than me. And I mean, they have the same melanin and everything else. I mean, I think it's just really with the individual. And I mean, it's just really how you carry yourself. That's what I believe. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables into everything how you grow yourself or how you carry yourself or how you're living. So, So right now, like you said, you're in Afghanistan, and you said you're going to be, I think what I remember you saying is, I'm in Afghanistan right now, and then I got to go over to Dubai, and then I got to go. The way you make it sound is like me telling my wife, "Hey, baby, I got to run over to the grocery store here and grab this, and I got to run over to the okay." So,
yes, sir.
Could you say that itinerary one more time just so I can kind of grasp it?
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do, because I have a small company here. I'm closing it up because the bases are closing here. I do a small service. That's one of my specialties that I do when I was in the military. I actually serviced the DoD contract and the country of Afghanistan. I help them actually make sure that they're in compliance with everything around them, so everybody kind of has a base. So I'm kind of, that's my specialty, and I believe that's the main reason why I'm in Kyrgyzstan, because I have that grasp and I have that concept.
Wait, did you say were you a KO contract officer?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was part of the KO. I wasn't technically the KO. I was what they call information officer, IMO. Yes.
Wait. Okay. You were in the military too?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. Did you say IMO? Did you say so? You were working the computers and networking and all that type of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I was an information officer. Yes, sir.
Okay, you were information officer. Boy, oh boy, man, you are a spectacular guy. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, so you started a company, where you were. So you became a contractor, a DoD contractor, where you were.
Well, not a DoD, not a DoD.
Okay.
Actually, I work alongside of a contract that kind of incorporated me because they needed this particular service, and this particular service actually the military wanted. So they just latched on to me, and I created a small entity, and then I just started work. And ever since then, they actually didn't technically buy me out, but they said, "Hey, we'll pay you this amount for this." And I just used that as a platform, and what I actually did, and I helped myself because I created another base for my other small companies that I'm developing slowly to actually be self-sufficient, because at the same time, I know it takes time, and I tell a lot of people, you're not just going to work one job to become self-sufficient. You're going to have to be able to create what you want and then get it in due time. Patience is the key, I believe.
You gotta be. So basically, the compliance. What were you making sure was in compliance? If I ask that correctly.
Well, no problem. Yeah, that's great. Like a lot of contracts come in, and then when they come on an installation, they particularly don't, when they're basically winning the bid, and once they win the bid from, the Pentagon, the White House and everything, they bring them over, and when they solicitate their information, a lot of their information isn't actually collected properly. So what the Afghan government wants to make sure is that they're paying appropriate tax, because they give the military leeways for appropriate tax laws. Because when they come in, they don't want them to okay, you're just going to bring the money in the country and you're only going to keep it in one spot, but then you don't want to service the rest of what my country is. You're going to have to abide by my tax laws, in which that's what they do. They keep it in compass. So what we do is we make sure that they have all the appropriate information. We file that information. We give that information under basically, I want to say, clearance to the government. The government basically surveys that company, and that company, from depending on how long that contract is, the duration of that contract, they apply certain taxes from what they basically have on the military installation to seeing if they're actually in a specific place in the country. And just the checks and balances. That's really what I call it, the checks and balances for it.
Yeah, because the value of their dollar and the value of our dollar sort of needs to be somewhat balanced out, basically, right? Is that another element of it?
Correct. Yes, sir. And I mean, it's just really for the security of the country, because you're using so many, they have so many subsidiary services. They have so many designated places, you know, and I want to say, you know, it's still being a war zone in Afghanistan. You know, they have priorities as well. You know, if they're going to, you know, facilitate these services, you know, they're going to have to also facilitate the land that they're occupying, and that's how the government deals with it. I mean, there's so many other details that you could definitely talk about as far as what the government comes when they actually come to a different country that you know, that the government doesn't tell the public, that I could definitely bring out, and which I am going to actually, I'm not going to say necessarily educate people, but I will give them the step-by-step reason of how countries establish, I want to say, military awareness or military urgency, or what they call it here, they call it protection or a relationship. And there's so many different variables when it comes to that.
Are you talking about a form of public relations? Is that what you're talking about, like a form of that, or are you talking about a form of something different?
Well, it is to a certain degree, but the relations only comes when they have the agreement. The relations is basically balancing out the relationship. That's why, you know, us as, you know, Americans, when you know, somebody like, I'm not going to say hypothetical because she actually did come here and do a deal, but when Hillary Clinton came here and she talked to the president of Afghanistan, when they were dealing with, you know, the Bush and the Clinton foundations and everything else, they come to an agreement on how they're going to facilitate certain places, like in Kabul, Kandahar being one, and Bagram, which are their main plateaus in Afghanistan. They basically set those margins and they set those deals to where they actually are able to facilitate those facilities and be able to create a service that helps provide both sustainable income to a certain degree, and it actually supports, you know, both sides. And I mean, that's how they will it out. I mean, there's more details to those, but you would actually have to see the details. But that's really how they sit down with those relationships, you know, and that's what people would like to call public relations, but it's a part of public relations. It's not really public relations. Public relations.
No, it's not
a relationship.
Right. It's a business relationship. I think
correct.
Because it's countries being in partnership together to foster each other's strength. Like I guess. And,
yes, sir.
And you know,
yes, sir.
Like let me ask you this, and this is the only reason why I'm asking this question is because the PR of the Clinton Foundation is considered negative in some people's minds, and I don't know much about it. But like when you were talking about the deal, of course, I don't know the details of it, and probably that's not something that I either need to know. I don't want to say that I care to know. I love that you use it as an example. So here's really my question. So during that moment that you know, Hillary Clinton was doing that, she was Secretary of State for a certain amount of time. And then, of course, she's got affiliation with the Clinton Foundation. So just like me being a military person, here's as a paralegal. So this is just me. This is Matthew, you know, doing my thing, right? So I'm a rapper, okay, and I got my own little, you know, the Matty Ellipsis show. I've had the Matty Ellipsis show literally for my whole military career, all 24 years. I've always been a rapper, and you know, the podcast really started when podcasts got started, but it was small, and you know, I didn't even know how to have conversations, let alone, you know, be talking to people in Kyrgyzstan that's muckety-mucks in other countries, you know what I'm saying, let alone that, right? So anyway, but I became a paralegal, and so here's the deal. So now I'm walking around doing paralegal work wherever I'm at. They send me somewhere. Hey, you're going to go over to California. You're going to go to this state. You're going to go to that state. So while I'm there, if I'm off duty, Like when they sent me to California for 3 years. When I was off duty, I went to church, right? After hours, I went to church. And so, the 80-year-old pastor, he liked me. He said, look, I want you to do a performance in front of my church, right? Had nothing to do with the military. I'm there because I'm on military orders. But him putting me up on front, let me share my music. Thank you. Okay, yeah, everybody likes it. I got my video footage. I'm able to put that out. I go out and I do my performances, right? Now, they know me as Matt. They don't, I don't show up in my military uniform. I don't leave the job during the day to go down there and do nothing for them or whatever like that. And they don't give me any money based on me being in the military. Like, they didn't pay me anything like that for doing the performance. But if they don't say, hey, we're going to raise money because we got a military guy. If that started to happen, and of course this is a very, very, very non-great example of what I'm about to ask you about the Hillary Clinton thing, but you're not supposed to use your position for profit, for personal profit. So I don't go around, I didn't go around California saying, hey, I'm a military paralegal, buy my music. People didn't even know I was in the military. And really, I just, now that I'm retired, I say I'm retired military, but retired and in at the same time are totally different things. So now, with the Hillary Clinton thing, the reason I'm asking that is because I know that as a dumb little Army guy. You know what I'm saying? I think Army is dumber than the Marines, if I'm not mistaken. That's the way the Marines always tell me, oh, you guys are dumber than whatever. So, so my point is, the Hillary Clinton thing, when she was down there and the situation you were in with her, was that a Secretary of State but side thing, because she, just like she would that, like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I just know from the work ethic. I mean, a lot of that stuff when they were in closed doors, it's, you don't know what people are actually telling what they're actually saying. But I know in the public eye how they present it and how they bring it to the table. It's something that they bring in the relationship, and there's nothing in once you're abroad, there's nothing saying like your off time or the time that you're supposedly you have self time, to yourself, that you can't have a conversation, and it does not have to involve your political position. Now, your political position might get you to the table, but the biggest thing about it is that, like you said, it shouldn't be used in that affair. But nobody really states the details in that discussion. Is that okay? She could have did that on her off time, or they could have made a conversation elsewhere, and that's the thing that people tend to not actually really research. It's like, okay, all right, she can't do that in her office position, but can she do that personally? And that's where the stretch comes, and that's where the temporary, I want to say, gray line enters. And I mean, you can't really hit that. And I mean, even if you look it up, like, it's a gray line, and people do it all the time. I mean, people do it, when with relatives and everything else in the office. So there's a lot of different things that a lot of people don't tend to let people know right off the bat.
No, I mean, and the thing about it is that's one of the things I really have been fascinated about in American politics is on the military side of the house, we get the ethics rule. So we, you as IT, that's one thing, but you dealing with the money / compliance part of that job that you created down there. That is something. There's ethics involved in there. You know what I'm saying? If the Americans,
yes,
if we were doing something that was sort of like I don't know really really a good example because I'm not familiar with that scenario, but let's say an example that Donald Trump used, for instance. So President Trump was like, China is devaluing our currency, whatever. What I'm saying? Like, we're going to put a tariff, or whatever he said. Little stuff like that, that is painting a picture to us Americans that China is doing something bogus, based on that. And maybe they are, but that's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying that in your scenario, the country that I guess is hosting, is this a host country for America, like the little American bases or whatever we got going over there that you were?
Yes, it's really what the bases are. They're an agreement of value within the country. There's so many different things that you could call it. I mean, I'm pretty
memorandum of agreement.
Correct. And a lot of people, when actually diving into this information, and it's pretty sad. There's a lot of lack of information when it comes to that, and I believe that's one thing going to also open eyes to with people when it comes to relations is that of course the personal information that is given out, of course I'm not going to be giving that out for the public eye, but I will give them the steps of how people have these relationships. And yes, you do have to leave your comfort zone because I let people know America is America is less than 30% of what the world is. And until people really realize that.
Good point. Oh my God, that's a good point. 30% of the world is in America, meaning the other 70% is all these other countries that are not America.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God!
To touch reality, and when people look at competition and everything, they need to understand. There's there's actually 3 countries out there that beat us in numbers. Not only in numbers, they beat us in time zones as well. And that's one of the things.
Let me guess what countries you're talking about. Let me guess. Is Russia one of them?
Go ahead.
Is Russia one of them?
Yes, of course.
Is China another one?
Yes, of course.
And let me think. India. Is India also one of them?
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. So those
That's
are
the
three
biggest continental combination. Yeah.
So
yes,
those
sir.
3. So it goes.
3.
Those are the 3. What? Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Well, no, they beat us in numbers, but the thing that has helped us cultivate a lot better outcomes is because we're more innovative. A lot of these countries are not innovative. Look at China's been a very restricted and communist country. That country has been restricted because of their government. Their government limits them because of free will. They know they can't control free will. And a lot of things that you see China does really depend on their umbrella. And that's just the surface of what they do. There's a lot more than what they do. There's this one. I always let my friends know, and I saw it when I was. It was a while back. I saw it on a flight here on Emirates when I was coming back, and it's called Chinese Hustle. They hustled our market for well over billions of dollars as shell companies to create multi-millionaires and billionaires in their country, and never, and I'm letting you know, never gave a reason for it, and we still do business with them.
I got you. Wow.
But that's just a touch of reality, and that just shows you how hungry and certain people are outside of this environment, and then nobody willing to actually do what it takes to actually not necessarily regulate, but actually be able to call it out. Because I'm going to be honest with you, China is number 2 on our debts. They have helped us where we have helped them, and we're in debt to them, which a lot of people don't know. And the biggest debt value right now for America is Japan, and a lot of people don't even know that.
No, you think
it's China.
Japan. You said the biggest debt. What?
The biggest debt that America holds is from Japan. You can Google it. You can look it up.
Wait,
well over $1 trillion.
Wait, the biggest. In other words, are you saying that the Federal Reserve owes Japan?
Yes.
Now, okay, I'm going to ask
yes.
you something. I'm going to ask you something, kind sir.
Yes, sir.
That
Go ahead.
And I want to know if this, because it kind of bothers me. Oh, before I ask you this question, I do want to say thank you for being as smart as you are. Doggone it, okay? 37-year-olds that are this smart. We need you guys, man. We need, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the older people are worried about young people, okay? And I'm kind of, I'm 44, so I don't know if I'm the next generation or if we're in the same generation. But the bottom line is, older people are so worried about the younger generation, and the younger generation are like, these are not our problems. We got these problems. And so I think person like you needs to be as smart. So I appreciate that. And the second thing I'm really grateful for is that you understand what to say and what not to say. Because as the anxiety that I had, okay, about, as soon as I saw the message, I immediately called you. So, it wasn't like a real heavy-duty anxiety because I'm retired now. But the anxiety that I had was, as soon as a person starts interacting with people from other countries, you get different perspectives, and there are some stereotypes. There are some stereotypes, with other countries. So, if let's say I was, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you don't want, just because I interact with somebody who's over here, over there, doesn't mean that I believe in whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing a talk show and I'm great. I'm like, you know what? We're going to work this. I want to talk to this interesting person. So thank you for reaching out to me like you did. You know what I'm saying? And being as smart as you are, knowing what to say, what not to say, and stuff like that. So now, all right. Now, here's the question I had for you. And this is about the Federal Reserve, and this is about who we owe our debt to, especially since we are we're less than 1/3 of the planet, America, right?
Correct.
Is this your understanding? Do you have this understanding, or am I wrong? Is America set up like this, where the Federal Reserve actually prints American money, and then America will not pay my payroll taxes? We're giving it, to the IRS or whatever, but it's almost like the Federal Reserve is the place where monetary policy is set. It's the place where the interest rates are put up and down. It's where they're able to set the value of the dollar in America, so that we, whatever, and obviously they probably coordinate with it around the world or whatever, but in America, my dollar can buy me a cheeseburger, on the dollar menu, partially because the Federal Reserve lets everyone know what the value of that dollar is or whatever. But then basically, America is subservient to the Federal Reserve because whatever our national debt is, which I can't remember is it three? I can't remember how many $1 trillion it is. But like you said, $1 trillion. You know it off the top of your head?
It's going to be kind of scary. I'll give you this. There's an app, and a lot of people don't even know about it. It's called U.S. Debt Clock. It tells you per the minute, per the time zone, and how it fluctuates our U.S. debt. Our U.S. debt is well over $27 trillion.
$27 trillion. And I was talking with one of my videographer, and we were driving in the car, and we were talking about the national debt, and let me ask you if I'm correct about this, okay? $100 is 10 $10 bills, right? Am I right about this? Right? So $1,000 is 100. $1,000 is 10 $100 bills, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, $10,000 is 100 $100 bills, right? Am I thinking of it right? $10,000. $10,000. $1,000 is 10 $100 bills, but $10,000 is 100 $100 bills.
$100 bill. Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Why do you need 100?
That's correct.
Right? So now,
that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Right. So $100,000 is 1,000 $100 bills.
$100 bills. Correct.
Am I right? 100. In other words, $100,000, which is it's one digit lower than a million. So 100,000. 100,000 is 1,000 $100 bills.
Correct.
Or am I is it 1,000 or is it 10,000?
No, 100,000 is one. 100,000 is $1,100 bills.
Yes.
10,000, like you said, is $100 bills.
Yes.
Correct.
And so a million is
10,000 is 10,000 $100 bills.
Okay, and then 100 million is
oh no, 100 million. You're doing two. It's a million. It's a million. $10. $100 bills.
Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. Look, we're going. Okay, now here's what. So I'm sitting in the car with him. We're doing this little dumb exercise, right? So here's where I said that a billion is one. A billion is 1 million times 1 million. Am I right about that?
1 million is times 1 million?
Right. In other words, 1 billion, B.
No,
I'm wrong about that.
No, 1 million times 1 million. No, 1 million times 1 million is 1 trillion. It's just a little.
Oh, so it goes to trillion? Wait a minute. We can't skip billion. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. So wait a minute. Are you saying that?
Nah, because because 1 million. Because if you do 1 million times 1 million, that's that's 1, 2. Hold on. This is how many is it? 1, 2, 3. Because you got to remember, a million has 6 zeros. So you do 1 million times 1 million, that's 12 zeros.
Oh,
so
wait a minute, a trillion is 12 zeros?
2, 3,
wait a minute, a trillion doesn't have 12 zeros, does it?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right. Okay, because you got the first three. The first three is 100,000. The second three is 1 million. The second, after the third pair of zeros, which goes past 1 million, is a billion, and then if you go past the other number, which is 1, it's a trillion. So 1 million times 1 million is trillion. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I need a calculator. I need a calculator, but I'm pretty sure it's right. I'm pretty sure it's right.
Great. See, and that's what we're doing. So I think I said it wrong in the car because I said 1 million times 1 million is a billion, and a trillion is a billion times a billion. But I like your math better than mine. All I know is I got $19 in my account. Okay, so that's so I'm not doing that amount of numbers or whatever. But the reason why I was brought that up is because we were talking about the national debt and the Federal Reserve. I don't know I heard the thing called the gold standard, and the gold is in Fort Knox.
Yes.
I heard about that. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is that the dollars I have in my pocket, the $19, if I go to the ATM machine and pull out $20, that piece of paper is similar to a receipt that I get from Burger King or whatever that says you spent $20. That $20 bill is basically a receipt. It's a receipt of value of something. It's a note. It's like an IOU that we trade back and forth with, but the philosophy of it is it's a receipt or whatever. Now, so the Federal Reserve is holding the real value of stuff.
Correct.
Whatever is the actual valuable thing that these dollar bill notes are being traded around, and or whatever. When I get my paycheck and I cash it or whatever, those are notes that are backed by whatever the federal. I don't even know what it's backed by anymore. You know what I'm saying? Is it backed by?
Well. No. I could break some of that down for you.
Thank you, kind sir. Please do. Yeah.
Really.
If you feel like it, I would love to talk.
Okay. The gold standard goes back to Reagan. He pulled the gold standard. That actually made the dollar so they could actually expand or scale what they were trying to do with the dollar. They were trying to put more notes out there, but the notes that they were putting out there were made from gold. But like as the gold standard is, it's backed by gold. That's basically what the gold standard was. Now, why America took that away is because they wanted to expand the empire with the dollar. So expanding the empire with the dollar means that you have to stretch it out, or you either have to find more gold. They didn't have to find more gold because guess what? I hate to say this. The biggest thing about old America, they were complacent. So guess what? They tried to find gold in the country instead of going outside of the country and trying to do bartery trade and stuff, because a lot of people weren't really big discoverers after Columbus and everything like that. A lot of people don't talk about those small details. Yes, sir. Now, what they did, and when they stripping that, it helped them to scale. So people that they were trading with used their money for abroad, which as you see, the dollar has expanded itself from different other countries and continents because of what we trade, our innovations, our what supplies, everything else that was actually helping them to cultivate their culture abroad, which then actually that's when the other countries started to create their own, societies, organizations, everything else. America didn't start this. Now we were just one of the pioneers of them. I mean, China did a lot of stuff. Russia did a lot of stuff. India did tremendous things. Africa did I want to say miraculous things. And I mean, there's still miraculous things in Africa a lot of people don't even know about, but I'm not talking about.
I know that. I heard about vibranium. And I heard about that vibranium. I'm trying to get me some of that vibranium that they got in Africa. Apparently, you know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding.
I would say this: as far as the gold standard and everything else, and the dollar. I mean, like you said, right now, a $20 bill is like the equivalent of a receipt. And a lot of people don't even know 10% of every note that they hold in their hand that they think is real money, or they think is money from the Federal Reserve, is less than 10% of what it is actually worth.
That's a current valuation based on what
it's actually even smaller than that, sir. They care not to say. That's why I said this one. That's why I said if you look at I gave you the app, like the app I was telling you is called U.S. Debt Clock. If you download that app, you can download it on U.S. Debt Clock. You can download it right now, and it'll break that. It won't break down everything, but you will see the fluctuating numbers, and those are the most accurate. I'm not going to say they're completely accurate because I don't think everything's completely accurate to the T, but they show you how the U.S. debt is. They even show you the U.S. debt for each president for the past all the way up to the 1900s. What the U.S. debt was.
I see. Yeah. I got on this website. I did it as a website. I did it as a website a long time ago. But go ahead, finish what you were saying. You said to let you see what. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, just to let you see exactly how we have grown. Yeah, and what we could have actually, I'm not going to even say prevented, what we could have actually started to, reduce, because we can reduce this. Like, the only thing that get carried away right now with the national debt is that people don't make that amount. Like, the equivalent of the national debt right now, a person would have to make almost $90,000 a year in order to sufficiently support and to bring down the debt in America. There's not a lot of people. There's not even middle class make $90,000 a year in America anymore.
No, you know what? Can we stay on this topic? Let's stay on this topic. Let's stay on this topic. Say that number again. Okay, say that statement again. I want to park here just for about a good 5 minutes because I was fascinated by this. Break it. Say that again.
Okay. Right now, the U.S. debt, I mean, I could open up the clock and just show
I'm
you.
looking at it right now.
Like right now.
27
right now.
438,831,500,000, and the numbers is going up.
Yes, sir. And you see what it says per citizen and debt per taxpayer.
Yeah.
You see that, right?
Exactly. That number right there is it's an offensive number to me. I'm so offended by that.
Yeah.
I'm so offended. It said debt per citizen as of the 15th of December, 2020.
Correct.
$82,955 per citizen. Every citizen in America owed almost $83,000. Here, hold on for a second. Hold on, this is my cousin again. Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hey, cousin.
Oh, I'm so sorry, brother. I meant to call your dad.
Oh,
I apologize.
Okay, sounds good. All right, talk to you in a little while, man.
Sorry. But hey, Matt. But do you? Okay, listen. I was wondering if your dad, if it was, I know you're not with your dad, but can you do PayPal, or if it was Cash App?
Yeah, I can do all that stuff. That's why
it would just be getting the funds to you. That's all. That'd be the problem. He had to get the funds to you in order for you to do it.
Right, and see, I will be back at my dad's house by either late tonight or early in the morning because
okay.
I can make it work because see, I got $80 on me, so I can make it work. So that it gets, within an hour or two or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
we can work. It's doable.
So I was going to tell him maybe not to worry about going out at the moment because I couldn't find a person at the moment who's available like right now to make it work. But I can.
This was my recommendation, Nathan. My recommendation was just hop in the car with dude and let him know that we're gonna fill up his tank a couple times or 3 times or whatever.
Exactly. And I don't want your dad to worry about having to go to Western Union right now if I don't have anybody. So that's all for to try to save him a trip.
He is so slow and he's so cantankerous.
Yeah, so I was going to try to save him a trip so he didn't go right now, do nothing because I don't have anybody right now to send the money to anyone.
Bless his heart, he's so busy. He want to be so helpful. You know what I'm saying, with his old dusty tail. So, it's a wonderful thing.
That's awesome.
So I would say talk to your buddy. Y'all hit the road. Whenever you hit the road, no matter what, even when you're on the road, I just got to upload my little, because I got paid from a TV station, so I just got to put that in, and then, I can Cash App, Venmo. We'll figure out our money thing. Boom, you got it in your, it'll come within seconds or however long it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We got it covered.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. So
you and me live in 2020, I'm bringing him from, right now he is in 97, 98, 99. So he's
okay.
Right, okay.
So then once I hear from my friend and I get his Cash App or whatever information,
Right.
I'll send it to you.
We'll work it out. Exactly.
All right. Thanks,
Sounds
man.
good. No problem.
All right.
No problem.
All right.
Bye. All right. Guys, are you still there?
Oh, it's no problem.
I didn't want to keep you on hold, so that's one of the things I love about my iPhone is that I can merge the car. I think I can do it on my Droid too, but sometimes it's like, you know what? Hey, this is my life. I am whatever. Now, back to this $82,000. What was you gonna say about that? This almost $83,000. What was you gonna say about that?
No, I was just gonna touch on it. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't even know that. They just assume that, okay, our debt's going up. We're just doing more trading. It's rotating money, but that's not rotating money. That's money that's actually that has actually left the country and hasn't come back. That's something that we have taken from our alliances or the alliances that we have in our government, and we owe debts to them. Like I said, Japan, one of the biggest ones. It's technically the biggest one. And then you have China, the UK. We even have other smaller countries, Venezuela, all these other ones that a lot of people don't even know. Like, all you got to do is Google it, and you'll see the list.
I'm fascinated. I'm looking at it. Says the trade deficit. We have a
Correct.
$298 billion trade deficit with China. What does that mean? That
means we owe them that much.
Oh, that means we owe them that much.
Probably more. if not more, depending on what the trade is, because that's one thing they always keep as a broad statement, is because they're not going to tell us material what we actually traded for that, because it's not always money. Everybody thinks, oh, it's money. It's never always money. It could be material, like it could be oil, it could be gold, like all these other things that we actually trade and barter and everything. We just put it to a value, which is our currency, and so people actually see that. But a lot of people just think it's money. It's never just money. Most of that reoccurring value, or that value that we take from other countries, is substance.
You said it's substance or subsidy?
No, substance is like, it's materials. It's
right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's never really physical cash. I mean, people think it's cash. It's never really cash.
Yeah, I got you. That's fascinating. And see, when I was looking at this dead clock, let me go back to it. Where's it at? What I just closed out of it by accident. There we go. Okay, the current one I'm looking at, because I would, on my phone, I would never download the national debt clock, because I'm not about to stress myself out. But I love going to the website once in a while. You know what I'm saying? I got enough apps on my phone to make me happy. I used to be app happy when I first got my phone. Ooh, I can get this. Ooh, I can get that. Ooh, and then your phone would lock up with a whole bunch of, stuff over there. So I'm never going to download the app, maybe unless I become a dignitary like yourself. But the thing I was tripping out on was the debt per citizen is almost $83,000. That means that my son, I have a son and a daughter. Each of them, when they were born, you owe $83,000. Like, wait. He ain't make no decision. She ain't make no decision. And if I were to come out of my pocket and give somebody $83,000 for me, do you know I would still have to pay taxes? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, handed y'all my obligations. Well, thank you very much. I mean, and this, when you have a national debt that's $27 trillion, $83,000 is like, that's like a drop of soap in the bathtub, right? In terms of debt.
Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Well, I mean, per person. But if you're thinking towards the country, I mean, we hold more debt than almost like, I want to say 14 different countries together. That's how bad that is. Like a lot of people think that's like, oh, that's not as bad as. I was like, no. We're up there. Like we're. Yeah. I want to say we're the best with innovation, the worst with money.
Right.
That's what I really see. Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think we're the worst with money. I think this is the way it was intended. I don't think that this is. I have my, and maybe this is conspiracy theory, but go ahead.
Well. I mean, I don't mean as in worse as in like we had bad money practices. Is that we had bad money placements.
We have
because
bad money.
If you look at our country,
yes,
sir. Because the way we try to place money, we shift. Like if you look back in the Henry Ford days and everything else, the middle class was the booming accession, with the factories and everything else. Those were the people making the money. That's when we had, they were doing a lot better union dues. They were doing pensions. That's when America started to, as they call, thrive, because people were getting their share fare or everything else. Now the technology stage came in. Now guess what? We don't need as many people to get a job done or to automate something. So why everything seems to be shifting, and a lot of wealth seems to be moving towards the left wing, not the right wing, the left wing, is because a lot of people, it depends on that ethic, or that, as we call, work ethic. And if you're not willing to, as a lot of people say, put in the work, a lot of times you're the consumer rather than the innovator or the worker. Because a lot of people want to just work their time. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, producer. Yeah, producer. A lot of people just want to work a time zone, clock in, and clock out. But they don't understand. People are making those pay rates because the dollar value isn't going up; it's going down. A lot of people are losing value in those jobs, and those jobs, as you see, are diminishing. But a lot of people don't look at it like that. Like if you look around in America, there are barely any pension jobs unless you have a high corporation. Like there's only like 7 corporations I know off the top of my head that deal with pensions. And the only reason why they deal with pensions is because they're all the way back in the late 90s.
And do you know, I don't know, how long did you stay in the military? Are you still, are you able to still stay in now, or?
Oh, no. I mean, I could probably go back if I had a doctor's degree. I don't have that. But, I don't think I can, because I already did my 10 years out, R&R, basically without inactivated service and everything else like that. I only stayed in just a little bit over 5 years. I did an extension because I was. I did a little mild extension because I was in Korea at that time. They had a AP program, which actually is dealing with Korea, on Camp Henry and Camp Walker. I just had that extension, and that extension pulled me out another, I think it was like 6 or 7 months. But it didn't bother me. I had a good command and everything. I was with good people. I didn't mind, staying a little bit extra. And I mean, I made a little extra money, and I got to be outside of the continent of the United States, and I was in a comfortable space. So I didn't mind it at all.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm too fascinated. And what has happened during this phone call is that, you heard my cousin, he's coming to town. Whatever that means to anybody, my cousin's on his way to town. And then and then my buddy, who's supposed to be coming over here because we got some video to do. It looks like, based on the message I got from him, he's like, hey, Matt, what time is such and such? And I told him the time. And so he just said, okay. So I guess because he said, we got to do this. What we got to do together, we got to get it done early in the morning. And it's afternoon right now. So that means he's not urgent. No big deal, because I'm here and I'm talking to you. So I get a chance to take some more time with you. I'm grateful, okay? So it's working out like better than I anticipated. So look, let me ask you this. Talk to me. What's the name of the president? Okay. Because the topic that you were talking about is the election in Kyrgyzstan.
Correct.
Did I say it right? Say it right? Kyrgyzstan or Kyrgyzstan?
No, just Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan. So there is no Kyrgyzstan. Yes. There is only Kyrgyzstan.
No, Kyrgyzstan. Correct. Kyrgyzstan. It's
Kyrgyzstan.
It's I'll just tell you an easy way to say it. They call them Kyrgyz. Kyrgyz. Stan, and that's all you have to do. Kyrgyzstan. Gotcha. That's exactly what it is.
Gotcha. So now
correct.
you got to Kyrgyzstan. Mm-hmm. How did you end up there, and how did you end up in the position and role that you're either undertaking or undertook or about to undertake? How did you go ahead, break it down.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, break it down.
Technically I'm running, but I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, the reason why I'm in this position now is because of relationships. I built great relationships in this country with the people that I met, with the people that I talked to. That's exactly how this came about. This didn't come about like, I wanted to be in office, I want to do this. No, they loved my passion for the country. They loved how I, was supporting them, mentally, physically, spiritually, through everything. We shared a lot of point of views. I mean, they, a lot of, I want to say, as far as relationships in a sense, a lot of deep conversations. And these people, like I said, happen to be in really strong positions in the country. And, they, when you're doing stuff, especially what I found out in any type of business or even it seems like in a political space, you want people that you trust. And that's what came about. It came about with that trust factor. And I just happened to be in that window, and they happened to talk to a person that was very, very well established in the political circles. And they say, hey, man, you're the guy. And they keep talking about you, and I want you a part of the team. And they just selected me. And I mean, didn't even hesitate. It's been like a snap of a finger. And I mean, that's really what it happened. And I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, this is God's plan. This is definitely not mine, because I definitely didn't talk about nothing about with politics. So this is definitely
what did you think was the original
definitely
plan?
An eye-opener for me.
What was your original plan, and then how did it even just go in this direction? Good Lord.
Well, I mean, my original plan, I have a production company in the country. I'm actually the first American to actually have a production company in the country. And then also I have a couple of other smaller subsidiary companies, as well, to kind of blend into the environment. I just wanted to have sustainable business, and then have maybe one business that was just a little bit, a cut above the rest. And, I made that into a corporation, which is an S corp.
Yeah.
And that's really what I wanted. I mean, I just wanted to, I wanted to create a family. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, not saying being humble or anything, but, I like simple things. If I create a lot of wealth or generational wealth, or if I can help somebody else do it, I'm going to do that. But, my biggest thing is that you get whatever you work out of it. So, and those relationships, when you stay true, you stay loyal to people. I mean, you never know what God has planned for you. And that's exactly what happened for me. I mean, this just turned into something that could be monumental, and it could be a very big milestone, not only just for me in the country and a historical mark. This could be actually for, any other country or any other person that's not only, just that looks just like me, but anybody that wants to be outside of their country and say, hey, this guy did it. This can actually be accomplished. So
can you
that's really it, sir. I mean,
go ahead. Especially what? Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry. No, finish what you were saying. You said especially.
Well, I mean, I can explain certain aspects, but I can't really tell you I position myself to be in here. When I see a lot of people with politics, they position themselves to get in here. They go from college for politics, and then they go become a city official. They try to get into the mayor's or governor's office. When they get to the mayor or governor's office, they go to Senate. Then when they go to Senate, they go to the House. They want to be a representative, and then if everything works out from the Senate and everything else, that they create this 10-year, 20-year reputation. They could possibly be president, Secretary of State, all these other bigger positions. But that's not the case for me. I just had somebody in those circles, and they said, hey, I like this guy. And he has the qualifications that you not only need, but he's different, and he loves this country, and why don't you try him out? At first I believe it was a little test of time, but, I had my really good, he's like a brother to me. He came up to me and said, hey, I want you to do this. Would you honor us in doing this? And I said, okay, I'll try. And
it's amazing.
And I didn't think it was going to be like this, but yes, sir. So that's exactly how it went. I mean, we had a little, go ahead.
No. Wait, you had a little what?
No, I was just saying you start with a little rough patch when you start, but other than that, I mean, it's been building blocks. I love to learn. I try to learn. I try to learn every day, and that's one thing I love about anything that I innovate with. But go ahead. I mean, you were going.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you. About that. Here's the question. Okay, so now you explain when we first got on the phone, the thing that you that kind of spilled out of your mouth, and I totally recognize it, that once you're in this position, the very fact that you're doing this so far is monumental, but once you're in the position and you get to do it for a year, 2 years, or however long your term or whatever it's going to be,
it's a 5 to 6 year term.
5 year to 6 year term, right? So you
Correct.
basically said to me that it's historical. Can you give me about a good 5 or so minutes or so on why it's historical? Why is it significant? Why go ahead, break it down.
Okay, well, first off, I mean, in their constitution, they've never had any other person from another country to be government society. That's one.
Wait, say that one more time.
Never.
You said they've never had a non-Kyrgyzstan.
They've never had. A non-Kyrgyz Kyrgyz citizen to be part of their governmental constitution ever. Never been done. They actually it's never even been spoken of. That's one. Number two, I lay it out to people, and I'm a Black American. I'm not African American. I'm a Black American.
Right.
And the third, I have no political background whatsoever. None. This shows a lot for politics. Because politics, usually, a lot of people, when you see especially in our country, you go to school or you have some kind of background. You have some family that's been in politics. I have none. None. The closest politics I got is my mom and my dad, and I told you both what they were. They were both Marines. That's it.
Right, and that's do what you're told, doggone it.
Yes,
man.
That's it.
And see, the presidency of Donald Trump, the presidency of Donald Trump, the fact that he went from basically a private citizen, but he was a public figure, to go from being on The Apprentice and being a I guess a real estate mogul, I guess that's the right word for him. Mogul, right?
I could definitely give you some pointers about Trump that a lot of people don't like to talk about. That he should say the situation that and I mean I'll
go ahead
too. I mean I vote Republican, but this is the thing that a lot of people don't know about Trump, and they should already know about Trump. Trump is a foreigner himself. His mother and father are foreigners coming to this country. His dad is German. His mom is Irish. He's a first generation American. They can say whatever they want to, but Trump, guess what? At the end of the day, Trump was given what he has. The only thing that came with his wealth was time. He did a couple of investments that appreciated because of the people that he was involved with, connections. And I tell a lot of people, connection will bring more wealth than the dollar will ever bring to you. Ever. So if you think the dollar makes you wealthy, get two valuable billionaires that believe in whatever you do. And no matter what you do, you will never run out of money. Never.
Oh man!
And that's a real point. And I tell people like that money is just what it is. It's a material object that we look at as stable as stability, which it is not. It will never be that. It's always been made by man and will always be made by man and controlled by man. They can't control your relationships and your connection to people.
Yeah. They can't. No one can control. No one can control your relationship and connections. Your connections and your relationships with people. Is that what you just said?
Yes, sir.
Man. Oh, that's pretty. That is some inspirational stuff. Please, okay. I hate to interrupt what you were about to say about yourself.
Go ahead.
But you were going to give us a couple things about Trump that would be kind of interesting that we will know. Like, for instance,
I wanted to make sure I made that 5-minute segment that you asked me to do. So I just wanted to make sure that was imprinted, and then I was going to go on to the Trump part. Trump has
keep going.
Been that. No. I was just going to finish up with Trump. Trump is just that. That's what Trump has appreciated into. And that's something that he doesn't talk about personally. And he's not going to talk about it personally because that's the key to his success, his connection. That's the key to his success. That's why I tell people, and a lot of my friends say that's crazy. I was like, no, it's not crazy. Number one, his family was tied to the Rockefellers. Number two, the Rockefellers were tied to Rothschilds. I was like, if you know the Rothschild family, you can look it up. The reason why we have the Roth IRA, the reason why we have the Roth 401k, all those other ones, you gotta think about how life and how money is managed. If you think about those families, and guess what I just said? Remember what I just said? Those two billionaire families, right? You will never run out of money, right? Guess what Trump has never done?
Right.
A lot of people don't look at that. It's not your friends, it's your circle. And your circle usually, I'm not going to say are not your friends, but they're your as what we call and what we have started to develop, what the younger generation calls a mastermind.
Oh, you said that Trump is a mastermind.
No. He is surrounded by masterminds.
Oh,
he is in a circle that was established before
of masterminds. He's in a circle of masterminds.
Correct. Of like-minded individuals that surpass, like his father. His father, Fred, established that for him. So all he did was take that placement, and that placement keeps him in a stability state because of their family legacy.
Yeah.
And as we call it, generational wealth. And I believe in it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I know this is a long shot to say, and I mean, I know a lot of people are going to click when they think about this. Until us as a people, not just saying black people, and I'm not just saying people of color, until us as a people understand that circle mentality, that focus, we will always be searching for the almighty dollar.
We will always be searching for what?
The almighty dollar, as we call it.
So you're saying
Money.
that unless we figure out how to be within a circle of masterminds or develop a circle of masterminds, is that what you're saying? Uh-oh, I didn't lose you, did I?
Is Amazon. You see Amazon, correct?
No. You know what? It kind of blanked out.
Amazon has created their own community. A lot of people don't know Amazon. A lot of people don't know where Amazon came out of. Jeff Bezos is Cuban descendant, families, immigrants coming from Cuba, Mexico, whatever, his family. His wife, great reader, writer, author. They started it from nothing. And what they understood and what they saw that a lot of people weren't looking at is how to build a community of customer service.
Wait, how to build
created Amazon to the FBA and everything else as a subsidiary. And all they did was address these concerns, the value, and the key structure, to that community. And as they built that community, it became a circle. And when that community became a circle, it became their own function. And their own function, now people come into that community for services, just like what we would do in a city, right?
Right.
If we need something, we could go out and get it from a distributor. You know, apples, oranges, food, whatever. We're not necessities, right? And that's what I mean as that circle. They became that circle, or what people like to call it circle of life. I don't understand, but it's just a basic circle of needs, necessities. You know, and then also, you know, you have your tidbits of wants and everything. I mean, I could explain in so many different ways, but I like to explain it as that circle because guess what? Everybody comes back to, you know, what you need every day. You know, that's why Walmart is so big. You know, you go to Walmart, you know, for necessities. I mean, some of the stuff might be cheap. Some of the stuff might be a certain price. You know, then you get a couple of the wants and everything else. That's what they did. They provided the necessities.
Yeah,
I could talk about a lot of stuff like that, and I mean, and this, that, in the world. And I kind of feel very bad that the Walton kind of fell back so bad.
Wait, explain that. What do you mean? What do you mean?
And because they couldn't keep up.
Wait, are you saying that Walmart could not keep up?
Hello?
Yeah. Are you
No?
still able to hear me? Are you still able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, I'm still able to hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you saying that Walmart could not keep up? You said they fell back? What do you mean?
Yeah, they did. I mean, if you think about it, like, how could the biggest service industry in America for the past 30 some odd years, before Amazon even had a spark, lose in less than 10?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that
nowhere.
Amazon is more powerful than Walmart right now?
Amazon is 10 times more powerful than Walmart. Jeff Bezos is worth 3 to 4 times more than the Waltons are put together.
Oh. Wow.
You can look it up right now. I mean, Jeff Bezos is worth more than $180 billion right now.
No, I think what you're educating me on, or at least what I think I'm hearing is, I think you just said that that the Walton family, they fell back a little bit. They allowed for Amazon to end up taking a space that they could have filled.
Oh yes, I mean it could have been filled very easily because they had the structure. They had the structure already, and a lot of the blueprint came from them. But not utilizing it puts you in a disadvantage. And then when people start to look elsewhere and everything else starting to boom, you know, the internet starting to boom, Walmart chose other avenues. But I mean, for me, I believe, and I tell my friends this, and they're like, "Oh, that's mean to say." I was like, "No, it's not mean to say." I think the legacy died with Mr. Walton.
Right. With the leaders.
His kids are just lazy because all they do is collect $1 billion checks. They're lazy. Like, I mean, I would tell that. I mean, honestly, I'm being so for real. Like there's no way you could tell me my father built a multi-billion-dollar legacy before the 90s, right? Got $1 billion legacy, right? I mean, you're beating out everybody. You're beating out Warren Buffett. You're beating out what's my boy's name? Bill Gates in his prime.
Right.
But you're not willing to take a step further or try to be innovative, and you want to relax for the next 20 years until somebody else sparks up and then destroys your family's legacy as far as brick and mortars. Because, I mean, at one time, you couldn't say anything was better than Walmart when it comes to service with a smile.
Right.
You couldn't say it. Now, I mean, Walmart is just that. It's another warehouse store. Even though they do have Sam's Club. Just another warehouse store.
It's powerful what you're saying. There was something you said on the Trump side. You said you were ending your Trump discussion, but you said basically if a person develops a circle of masterminds, did I phrase that right or wrong?
No, you're right with the mastermind, correct. Well, I was saying now with the Trump one that I interrupted myself so I was just completing what we were talking about before, what you were asking about. I was letting people know that money isn't the reason for your wealth. It's your connection. Because like I said, if you have 2 billionaires that believe in whatever you do and help you monetize, you will never have to worry about money.
Right.
Because that's what people think. People think that almighty dollar is going to carry you to the next level. I believe the next level doesn't even involve money. The next level involves people and their belief in how you're able to do what you say you can do or accomplish what you're going after. Perfect person right now is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You can't give him money anymore. Like, you have to give him some excitement. Like, he's building rockets and stuff. He's building stuff that rockets are retracting back, coming down safely and everything. I mean, he's doing stuff that, he doesn't even look at a budget. He's like, all right, in order for me to do this, I gathered all these scientists. We came to this conclusion. I need $20 billion, and I need it tomorrow. And they give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and I mean, it's for certain things, and people, they call him a genius, whatever. He's just not only innovative. He's moving people in a different light to where they have to understand, like, this stuff takes time, and a lot of people think, oh, he's got to be wealthy to do that. He wasn't wealthy. He's the same guy that started PayPal from his mama's house with pennies.
Wait, now who did this?
Doing newspaper routes. Oh, Elon Musk. He started.
Elon Musk started PayPal.
Yeah, you can check that out. Yeah.
I didn't know Elon Musk started PayPal.
Yes,
That's
sir.
pretty
Yes,
good.
sir.
No,
Check it out.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, go.
He helped create that. That's it.
Wow. Now I'm seeing what you're saying. And so it is the circle.
Correct.
Your circle of friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because, I mean, right now, Elon Musk is probably rubbing hands and backs of world leaders and innovators and people that you probably will never see their fortune in your lifetime that he has access to, and that's why he's where he's at. I think he's at the top. He's one of the top 5 now. He wasn't even a top 100 like 10 years ago. He's at the top 5 now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. No, I mean that's that. All right. So let's go back to the politics thing that you're working on. I mean, you're okay.
Yes,
You and let me just ask you this then.
Go ahead.
Okay. How did you
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up becoming so doggone fascinating? Like, what in the world? Where did you? I mean, did you decide? What age did you decide to start getting educated in the way that you are?
Well, I mean, being, as you said, military brat, I mean, I was already exposed at a young age. I mean, I was living back and forth between, Havelock, North Carolina, and Camp Lejeune or Jacksonville, North Carolina, on the Marine Logistics Base, and my mom and dad would go back and forth between Iwakuni and Camp Zama in Japan. So I was already access to that world, and having different relationships, I wanted to say almost 2 separate lives, because in Japan, I was actually, at the time when I was little, I had what is called a mama-san, which is a maid that would go back and forth because my mom and dad would work days and nights. And I was talking to her not only in English but in Japanese as well. So I would go back and forth with her, and then with my mom, and I had a lot of different perspectives when I was younger, and that's really how it started. I think the trigger kind of got to me when I just didn't feel comfortable in certain spaces with a lot of my associates and stuff. I mean, it was great, but I was just curious of what was outside of the United States, and I just wanted to go ahead and do it. And I took the leap of faith, and I've been outside ever since. So.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating because outside of, let's say, I came up with this little thing. People that are outside of the military don't necessarily have a mindset like a lot of military people do, and it doesn't make military people better or worse, because engineers or lawyers or bricklayers or, I don't know, people who make shoes, they've got a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I put it. I said out of 330 Americans, you got 15% are black or African American or, descendants of slaves, whatever people whose skin color looks like mine and yours. Okay, however you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Out of 330 Americans, 2%, I believe it's either less than 2% or 2%. So I've been saying 2%. 2% go into the military.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of the 2% that went in the military. You're part of the 2%. So if you got a person who's part of 15% and the 2%, who are also, of course, we're part of the 100% of Americans because we're, naturalized, born in America, right? So
correct.
We've got whenever I find out that somebody spent, you spent 5 years in the military, we have something that a lot of other Americans don't have, and that's just, we've got that basic training time period, whatever our military occupation was. Our brains have been kind of trained to work a certain way a little bit. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of trained to handle stress in ways that other Americans don't have to do, per se. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'll never be. I never decided to do all that type of stuff. I like sitting at a desk. You know what I'm saying? Jumping out of planes, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that being part of that 2%, I can grasp that your curiosity, because now you start getting engaged into various things that as the military puts you in different positions, it makes you get interested in stuff like that, right? Obviously, because your parents were military. When you were overseas and you were doing, was that your first time overseas?
Well, no, actually, I mean, because I've been overseas ever since I've been basically, I want to say born, because I was going to be born in Japan, but my mom made sure she could get back to the States, and I was born in Camp Lejeune. Mm-hmm. Correct. She flew back to me. Mm-hmm.
So you were born on natural American soil, I guess. Camp
correct.
Because you wanted to make sure that you
correct.
were. You wanted to make sure you were. Because you still would have been an American, right?
Yeah, I would have technically been an American because I would have been. I would actually live, basically born from an American. But my mom didn't want to take any chances. So she made sure I was. Yeah, exactly. So and plus I was really kind of leaning towards that. I mean, even when I was younger, I mean, I have, as my mom calls it, an Asian mentality, but it's not. So I don't think it's the Asian mentality. I just being around my mom. My mom's a very focused person. I mean, she's actually a great writer. She just never really got to finish school the way she wanted to. Just very, very, I want to say, articulate. That's my mom. So I mean, she's always been like that since I was younger. So
right.
Very articulate.
It's so funny because I'm assuming your mother's also black. I ain't taking no chances. I don't need no dreamer as a son.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, sir.
So that means you have already had a lot of that, being overseas or whatever. So now, when they say that Kyrgyzstan, they feel that you fell in love with their country. Are you faking it, or what did you fall in love with?
No, I mean, really, just there's so much opportunity in that country. And that I've seen for myself. This isn't something that somebody else just put into me and it's like, oh, I love it because of the experiences. It's because I've breathed the air. I've been in the countryside. I've been in, the lake, the man-made lake that they have. I've learned some of the history. I don't know all the history, and I'm not going to say I do know all the history, but I know a lot of the peaks and the highs and lows of the country. And I know when the Soviets started in 1950, when Russia took over and basically collided their government, and basically submitted them in order to actually be in the regime of Russia. So, I mean, there's so many different aspects of it and how they got their independence back. I mean, there's there's so many different things that I've really fell in love with. But the main thing I fell in love with is that they're similar to a lot of things that not only I want to call people of color have gone through, but what we're trying to fight for. We're trying to fight for a simple position in the world to be not only created equal, but to have a part and a voice in what we do and say and how we present ourselves in this world. That's part of what I fell in love with mostly. And to be a part of that, and then I not only be able to embrace it, but be able to spread that and be able to have other people feel the same way. You know, you don't have to stay in this one country. You know, you can go to this other country, or you can live in these other locations, and you can live just as peaceful as you do in the United States, which some people do know, but a lot of people are very fearful of the unknown, or what they call the unknown is because you won't take that first initial step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a lot better places in the United States I could name, and I could tell people, like, if you just worked here in the United States, I could tell people right now, I could give them a place that if they worked in the United States and they just rent, they could work in the United States for 10 years. I could take them to one place. Mm-hmm. They could live there the rest of their life and not have to worry about $1 after they save up a certain amount of money. And it just rotates, literally. Like if you're looking for to be sustainable and live a great life and have everything, unless your life revolves around money, which a lot of people like materialistic things, I get it. But if you're looking for just a sustainable life, there's too many countries out here to be sustainable. That America, it will take you 40 years in America, and you can just do 5 years in this country, and you're sustainable.
Wait a minute. Now, that is fascinating. That is fascinating. That is,
But if you never do the work and you never step out, you never know.
Wow. I mean, I've heard, like, some people they get a little bit of money and then they'll go to, like, a country that doesn't have that much, where the economy is not as, plentiful, so to speak, as, as a country like ours that knows how to make our debt look a certain way. So, and then they can live like a king,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so this is a 6-year thing that you're working on, basically.
Yes, you're talking about for running for the campaign.
Yeah. So what's involved and, what needs to happen?
Well, right now, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm just gathering supporters. I just want word of mouth, and I want people to ask me questions because I know that's going to come into view. I'm doing a pretty big press conference, which I want to do in the country once I start it. Once everything starts to its to its position, and I want people to not necessarily embrace me, but I want people to be curious on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I mean, because I'm not going to say I'm just doing this for Kyrgyzstan. I'm doing this for Kyrgyzstan to have opportunities like any other country that I will be able to go to and help those opportunities to be able to go anywhere on God's green earth to be able to establish yourself, or if you feel comfortable in this country. Because I think that's the missing key that we're having in this world right now, is to not necessarily embrace each other, but be able to relate and have a conversation. Like, we only have conversations what we call alliances. But we only have alliances to those people that we feel that can either support the betterment of our society or organizations, or they have something we want. And I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be like what we do with relationships. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? And then go from there. and then you be the judge. I think that's the way I believe it should go. But a lot of people are afraid to make those initial steps, and that's why government has created that atmosphere for people, and they make people feel like that's something that they can't do. Any person in the world can go up to another president of the country. Now, you getting there, that's a different story. But I'm pretty sure they're going to be interested if you actually do something like that. You come up to them, you just want to ask a question.
Right.
You create a relationship just that way. It's not like America, you know, they got like 20 and 30 guards, and you got to do this, you got to do this secret pass, you got to have this secret clearance in order to be around them, to breathe around them. You can't be no informant. You know, we got to look at your background. There's nothing like that.
Man, you know what? I've been tap dancing a little bit on this topic, and you're touching right on it. But I need to just go ahead and ask you, okay? Are you ready for this? You know.
Go ahead, son. Go ahead.
All right. So one of my problems that I'm personally dealing with as a man in America, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This problem I'm having is I'm not going to blame it on anybody else, and I'm not going to act like someone else needs to fix it. But it's a problem I'm having that, you know, just like with the national debt, I owe something, but I didn't have any say in it being like that. And going forward for the rest of my life, if you are expecting me to uphold this national debt clock system where my productivity and the GDP and, you know, my tax, I should, the same way that somebody made decisions to put us in this position, I should have a say into you know how, you know, how it's going to be resolved, if it's ever going to be resolved. You know what I'm saying? So that's me as an American. You know what I'm saying? I live in this household, and so I want to contribute. I'll take out the trash. I will, you know, wash the dishes. Okay? So I'm going to do my part. As an American, I do my part. I serve my country. You know, the proverbial being in the military, yes, I got paid, but there are some things that even though you're in and you're getting paid a paycheck, there are things that you put to the side that becomes a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Certain things, you know, I put my music career, you know, we're in America, so, you know, I watch these other rappers doing their thing. You know, I don't you know, I'm not mad at them. I don't say, you know, soldiers die so that you can, you know, do your lyrics. I don't, you know, I'm happy for them that they got some success, and I'll pay a ticket to them. You know, nothing special. You know what I'm saying? Needed for military people. You don't have to give me free tickets to a game. It's all good. But now I get to focus on my thing. Now, I'm getting to my problem. Forgive me for this long setup. I don't mean to be that long. But
No problem.
a problem that I'm having is that I feel that I'm interacting with what is called, in all capital letters, white supremacy. I feel that I'm dealing with that. And, you know, the Trump presidency, there are good people on both sides. That's not the first time that I've ever interacted with what I would call white supremacy, capital letters. Okay? And I believe that when you look at American history, we as Americans, we have a way of making things seem like one thing, but then there's an extra reality where you can kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen South Park. but they did a great episode about some people wanting to go to war and some people wanting to protest the war. And Cartman, one of the characters, he said he figured it out. America, we are a great country because we've learned how we've set our laws and our system is set up so that we can go to war and we can act like we're wonderful because we're also protesting the war. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can pretend we're not about something but be doing it at the same time. We Americans, we are free to be double-tongued, fork-tongued. We are able to, if we can say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I thought he was going for a gun, but there was no gun at all, right? And it's 12 police officers on one dude, or whatever the ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? We can, and then go to court, and then everybody says, "Oh yeah, that was fair." Yeah, the cops were. He shouldn't have wiggled like that. He shouldn't have. The guy should, matter of fact, he was killed, but we're going to bring up, he might have been a drug dealer in his past life, so that's the reason why it was okay for him to be killed. Justifying evil stuff, okay? And now that I'm in my 40s, I'm more grumpy than I was before, okay? I've been an optimistic church boy, military, do what everybody tell me to do. I'm retired. And I have seen too much to sit back and just know that I have to teach my son how to be a sucker to a certain, quote, race of people so that they can stay alive. You don't want nobody to, you don't want to be a revolutionary because they're going to tap your phones and blah, blah, blah. You need to be a good boy. I don't want to teach my son to be a good boy. I don't want to teach my daughter how to eat out of the master's hand. And that's my problem. That's not nobody. Other people seem to not have racism. Just certain people, it just doesn't exist. You interact with some people. I know what I'm smelling. I know somebody farted up in here, but nobody takes responsibility fully. And that's what I've learned over these years, over my 40 years of life, that we are, America, we are able to have our cake and eat it too. We're able to have our slaves and be able to influence, have our slaves and our wealth, but then not have to deal with, not want to deal with the guilt that comes along with that. We want to be able to. I watched that Gang of Eight back when who was that? I want to say it was in 2013. I remember Marco Rubio and a bunch of others called themselves the Gang of Eight, and I remember we are going to fix the immigration problem, right? This is way before Trump ever, came to the picture as he was going to run for president. I watched them punt for 6 months, punt for another 8 months until it was no longer in the headlines anymore. I've watched them over these years take these very, very important, critical problems that could be solved, including the way black people that look like my son and look like my daughter. My son, when he was 7 years old, he sat down next to a white boy, a white child, and he said to the white boy was 6 years old, and my son said to him, "I'm black, but you can trust me." I had that moment on video because I didn't know, I'm just videotaping my son. He sits down to him and says, "I'm black, but you can trust me." I don't know. I know what that means, but why is a 7-year-old boy saying that? Why is it that this country is set up in a way where my son, who is 7 years old, gets so I didn't teach him that. His mama didn't teach him that, but somebody taught him that. Somebody taught him that it might be better for you to say, "I'm black," but you can trust me, which means being black, you're untrustworthy. Son, where did you get this idea? I interviewed my son. My point is that my son is already dealing with that. My daughter is already dealing with the effects of this country, the unspoken sometimes, the unspoken reality that we do have a system in this country that makes black people like myself, just people like me, may not be all black, okay? I've voted Republican before, so I know what Republicans are. I'm with Republicans on certain issues. But when I couldn't believe it. You vote Republican, and then they ain't got nobody black in their cabinet, nobody black on that side. At least the Democrats, at least they doggone it, at least they you could call the Democrats, they're deceiving black people. But at least they put a black person in the spot. Let me get inspired. At least let me be inspired. Y'all don't even give me no time. Y'all give me lip service, but not even no inspiration. Don't give me lip service and no inspiration. Now, so here's the thing. What I'm saying is, my question is this, and this, I'm sorry for saying all this stuff, but I just needed to.
You're good.
You're like a wonderful person that I can vent to about this, so that you can help set me straight with your finna be a muckety muck in another country self. You know what I'm saying? Giving me. I ain't never wanted to go outside the country because I love America. You know what I'm saying? I love just being here. I don't have no plan. I never want to go nowhere. Now you got me thinking, wow, Kyrgyzstan, maybe.
I could tell you a couple of things that would make you double take America, but not in a sense to where it's completely leave it, but to really look at I want to say the justification, and I could tell you how America could really deal with the national debt, and I could tell you how America's government would definitely have to start working on it, and I know exactly what the American people would have to do, and I could say one word, and government would get scared after I say that word.
Are you bold enough to say that word?
Oh, yes, sir. And once I get into this position, I'm going to be saying a lot of stuff that's going to kick people right in the face.
All right, I am listening. You heard the crescendo of what I was trying to say was, I know in my heart that I'm dealing with the effects of slavery as it passed down generation, or whatever. I know that I'm free. I know that I can do whatever I want. But I have had reminders over the past 5 years of my life to remind me that personally, directly to me, Matt, don't forget, you're black, and whatever other words that come along with that. I've had personal reminders that, my uppityness, what, you know what I'm saying? So I thank God. And I don't look at God or whatever, as the culprit. You know what I'm saying? I recognize that people put all this stuff together. So national debt, one word that would solve some stuff, and then the big thing for me is also the racial part. I hate even the word race because race means racism. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at least that's how I feel. So talk to me. I mean, I don't want to say give me some words, lie to me, but I'm just saying, you feel what you understand where I'm coming from and my little bit of frustration.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about it? So national debt and this other stuff I just inarticulately blurted out. Go ahead.
Right now, as far as what you're saying right there, it's really institutionalized situations because America, like the biggest thing that's wrong with America, and I tell people it's the root. A lot of people get mad at me for saying what do you mean the root? I was like, the root. Like, how do you think America started? And they're like, we had our forefathers. I was like, okay, you're partly right, but what were the forefathers doing? They're like, oh, they were writing the Constitution. I said, don't you think the Constitution needs to take out the institutionalism? And they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, the only people that are safe. And Morgan Freeman put this up, but I know a lot of people didn't catch it. I had to bring my mom back to this episode. My mom listened to that episode. She said, "Wow, Tony, how'd you catch that?" I was like, because a lot of people don't look at that detail. And that detail Morgan Freeman puts out, this guy's on national TV. He's on national TV. What's his TV show? He is stuttering because of what Morgan Freeman said. The only people that, besides the Native Americans, that have ownership and legal law-abiding citizens are white, as they call them now, Americans, basically not born and bred, that have migrated from the Queen of England. Not white women, not black men, not black women, not any other ethnicity. White men. And that's not
white men. What?
You just mean no.
Just say it one more time. You said white men are the only ones who have
white
what?
men. White men are the only specified law. Basically, the law was built around.
Oh, you're saying the law recognizes men. When they say man, the law recognizes white men.
That's it in the Constitution.
So all men
for
are
law
created equal means all white men.
No. Yes.
No?
And it doesn't mean all men. Play on words.
Right. In other words, what you're saying that when they said all men are created equal, they were really meaning to say the real subtext or the real word is all white men, specific white men, as you mentioned. You said descent, from the Queen of England or whatever, migrate to white men are created equal. All the rest are not even considered men.
Correct.
That's heavy, man.
And if you think about it, and I tell people, I was like, why do you think they say men and they're not specific? And it's not beating up the Constitution. It's just that guess what? Everything needs a revamp. Everything needs to be upgraded. We upgrade our computers. We upgrade our phones. We upgrade the life that we're living. Why can't we upgrade the Constitution?
As the founders intended. Bring me a sandwich and don't spit in it.
Yeah, but I tell them, I was like, think about it. Like, we're upgrading everything but the thing that we need to upgrade. Are you afraid because the playing field is going to change? And it will. It will undoubtedly change. It will terrorize them, actually.
That is yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
What I was
going to say too.
You got the floor.
What I was going to say too, and a lot of the families are descendants from the Queen, from the Queen of England area, whatever that, are the wealthiest families in America. A lot of people don't know that either.
Right.
Because the Rothschilds are the wealthiest family, and guess where their descendants are?
Is it England?
Yeah. Even the Rockefellers, and even the Rockefellers has a mix. The Rockefellers has a mix. Their family has a mix because they were, as they call, not the inbreed. I forgot the specific name for it was, but they were the first mixed family to be in the wealthy atmosphere. They were the Rockefellers, which a lot of people don't know either. But the Rockefellers also has descendants in the European colonies.
Yeah. So,
Andrew, go ahead, sir. Mm-hmm. Oh no. I mean, I'm good with that. I just wanted to bring out that point, and that's a very big point in history that a lot of people, like I tell them, like it's not all people. That's a big point.
And the point you were making, let me make sure that I heard it right. That did you say the Rothschilds or
the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers
were the first? You didn't say mixed, did you? Mixed?
No. Well, Rockefellers was the first really mixed, wealthy family. Yes, I said they were.
Okay. Meaning all white, whatever white is.
They weren't all white. They were mixed. Like, they had maybe some Indian, or they had maybe some family from Ireland, Italy, stuff like that.
Okay.
They had families from different other. I'm not just other countries, but in different areas, because they were a family of money. They went around and they saw different beautiful women outside of the United States. They were one of the only families that actually could afford certain wealth benefits. You can go out and go find your wife in Italy. If you own a boat or station or whatever. I mean, they were some of the only people that could do that.
Yes, sir. All right, and I should refresh things. Let me see here. Let me refresh something, because you were making a point, and I hate to have interrupted your point. I am,
no problem.
You've been listening to the Matt Ellipsis show, and I'm going to be doing, add a little. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out a way to kind of make this look good on the YouTube thing. Antonio Robinson, he's in Kyrgyzstan. And I think he wants to run the world, but he's going to do it one.
No, I'm gonna let somebody else do that job.
You'll let somebody else run the world.
I think I'll be. I'm gonna let somebody else do that job. Like I definitely believe God put me here to be a little bit more of a clearer sight picture. I would like to say that, and bring more. I want to say transparency to a lot of cloudy positions, or our way people position themselves.
I love that term, sight picture. Okay, sight picture is such a great term.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain to everybody what does sight picture mean?
Well, I mean, for me, I mean, just as far as what you're seeing, is this the essence, or is this the truth? And that's really what it is, is getting to the truth. It's being clear, it's a clear understanding. Some people need a more of a layman's term to it, but I mean, it's just a clarity for what you're speaking on, or what you're doing. That's really what it is.
Yeah, in the military, when we fire our weapons, you got to look through the sight of the rifle, and then there's a sight post, and so when you look in that sight, they tried their best to use a picture, like a little card, some type of a picture, a little graphic, to help you understand. When you are shooting at your target, you need to see this sight picture. Make it so that the sight post and the eye hole. What is the eye hole called?
No.
It's not the scope.
Go ahead.
It's not the scope, but where you put your eye and the sight post that's on the end of the rifle, you line up those sights, or the sights, you line the sights up so that when you pull the trigger, your round or bullet goes directly where you're aiming it at. And so I love, when you say sight picture, that's what I think about, that wherever you're trying to go or what you're aiming for, you've got the correct view, not a couple of degrees off. Because if you tilt and have you kind of like the wrong sight picture, you're shooting in the right direction, but it'll go too low, or it'll go too high, or it'll go to somebody else's target or whatever. So that's why I like the term sight picture when you said that. So your goals would be what when you take a new job?
This one, really for this position, my goal is just to help create jobs in a better sense of stability. Not more so for the, I want to say, the money aspect or the lifestyle, but for being able to have and create your own substance, not only in the country but outside of your own country, to where you feel a lot more independent. So if you want to establish yourself elsewhere, you can. And this is not just for Kyrgyzstan, even though this is a platform for Kyrgyzstan for, to stimulate their economical value. But what I want to put in place is more so for everyone. So that just like the way we do money, people should have that same opportunity to go where they feel that they're best appreciated.
Right.
And that's kind of the environment I want to create. I want people to be able to see the world without having to always buy an expensive ticket. They can if they want to. You just have to take that leap of faith.
So, I mean, the thing I was talking about in terms of like the racial part in America, of course, that I'm, that's who I am. What is it? How are we viewed around the world? Is white supremacy, does it exist? Is it a figment of my personal imagination?
Well, there's a stigma for all types of races in every country to a certain degree. And I mean, I call that, the lack of knowledge. And a lot of times that's really what it is. It's lack of knowledge of, because honestly, I hate to tell you, in Kyrgyzstan, the only thing they really know about Black America is what they see on TV. That's really how they gauge. That's really how they gauge Black America or African Americans in America. They in Kyrgyzstan, they actually have a lot of experience with Africa, but that deals with the universities, a lot of the English schools for teaching and everything, and other small subsidiary, I want to say, businesses and stuff like that. They already have experiences with Black people. They have a really strong experience with Black people in Africa. But because of, I really believe because of China, because China has a huge presence in Africa. But really what I want to call it, and again, to a certain extent, it is institutional racism, because that's how a lot of people have what as we call it, as what you like to call it, sight picture that has been placed for our ethnicity. That's it. That's really what it is. And I mean, it's like that with every other country. Everybody has a different point of views, depending on the household or the experience from the families or the organizations to the corporations or to what has been experienced for the whole entire country as a whole. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, like I'll tell you right now, you go to Germany, they love black people. They think black is beautiful. They think it's beyond words. I mean, even though I have never really been in Germany other than in Frankfurt, and I didn't really even go outside of Frankfurt. But from what I've heard and what they tell me, they love our pigmentation to death. Or vice versa, you go to a place like China, and it depends on the neighborhood or place there where you're in, how people will react to you, even giving service to you. Which is, to me, I thought it was crazy, because it's like, they have such this great impact when it comes to, I hate to say, our materialistic things like hip hop, R&B, music. One of their greatest innovations in China is Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson is black. But when you talk about putting yourself amongst the group, that's just too risky, or that's not promising. That's not going to create any wealth for me, because that's what they've been institutionalized to believe. That the darker you are, and they show it in their pigmentation, the darker you are, the weaker and poorer you are. It's what they believe.
So, I mean, like, they may believe that, but so are you saying, okay, let me ask you this. Are you saying that what some of the work that you're doing sort of presents a different image?
Oh, yeah, it projects a completely different image. Completely. It's a disruption of what they have been, what they have been taught. It shows them like it doesn't, like when I come to Kyrgyzstan, I'm not no rapper, no actor, I'm not entertainment.
Right.
I'm what they consider to be, I hate to say it in this way, a white man's position of authority.
Right.
So it's very odd to them, and then to not explain it would just draw up questions. They would think I'm, I hate to say it, they would think I'm a thug, or somebody had to give me a secret passageway, or I had to be able to buy my way into the position. There's going to be all types of talk once I get in the campaigning very well, and I know that's what's going to arise because of my pigmentation. But once they get to know the real me, and that's why I want to do press conferences every week, so people get to ask those initial questions and why am I doing this? I'm going to get repeated same questions, but I want them to know me. So once they understand exactly what I'm doing, and one of my biggest sayings in my campaign is no promises, just results. And that's what I stand by.
In other words, when you say no,
the biggest thing in that country. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No,
No. I was going to listen to what you were saying. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
When you say no promises, just results, that is a powerful statement, I believe. I mean, you say you're not a rapper, but you're definitely black to say something like that.
Well, my thing in this country and in many other countries, a lot of people make statements, and they also make promises, as we call them, or I like to say statements of statements of trust that has never been completed, but yet they want to keep making them and act like people don't remember that. So my whole, you know what I'm saying? My whole presentation is that I'm not going to make any promises to you. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. So that's why I say no promises, just results.
But see, isn't
because
that because what? Please continue. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. What are you going to ask?
No.
I can lead it into what you're saying.
In America, the whole idea of no promises, just results. Here's like a fellow dumb American. Well, before we put you in there, we got to figure out what you're gonna do. Tell us what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
We'll get results. Everybody gets results. So I mean, but it's like, are they gonna be asking you questions like what in America asks you? What you think about abortion?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, all that stuff is going to come into play. I mean, the biggest thing is, what are you going to do about the corruption? And I'm going to be so straightforward. I mean, of course, it's going to question some people. It's like, all right, he's being a little bit too honest. I don't want to be. It's not being a little bit too honest. It's being very truthful with my answer. Because when I get to where I'm at, I'm not going to be talking too much. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to make a promise to you that I can't keep.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make any promises because I've seen so many people, especially in this country, and going to Kyrgyzstan, they make so many promises like they can't keep up with them. I promise you this. This is my word. This is all my mama. All these other things that they fly out of their mouth. I mean, even with fellow politicians in our country, you know how they state promises. I mean, look at what Trump said. Look at what Hillary said. I hate to say it, and I'm not bashing anybody. I mean, even Obama said a couple of things, but it's not. And the thing I like about Obama is he comes back to it and he says, "Hey, this was the situation." Da 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 da. He at least explains it. You got the other ones just like, all right, okay.
That is the point. It's nice to have a politician that's like, okay, look, this is what we tried to do. This is where it kind of,
exactly.
If you remember the news coverage, if you remember, because then it puts you there. It's very few people that you see. They're like, yep,
correct.
That's what we did. No, we didn't do it the way you think we did it. No, we didn't do it like that. It was like, I just saw you. Dude threw the shoe at you twice. You did.
Yes, sir. And I mean, and a lot of people criticized him for doing that. But I thought it was very honorable because that puts him in a better light with the people's trust, and that's what the president's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the people's trust. He's supposed to be the man of the country. He's supposed to be our representation.
Yeah, he's our representation, not our boss. He's our representation. And he's not supposed to solve every problem.
Correct. That's what he's got the House for. That's what he's got the Senate for. That's why he's got all these law-abiding citizens around here that are supposed to be upholding the public law, but they like to manipulate certain things within the law. There's so many different I call them clout of justice. It's ridiculous.
Did you say clout?
That's not. I call them clout of justice. Yes.
Oh, cloud, like up in the sky.
Cloud. No. Yeah, well, clouds. It's the same thing as clouds. You can say clouds too, but clouds. I call them clouds because it's hovering over people's head. People know it's there, but they don't recognize it because of it's been day in and day out. You know how when we know if you go to Alaska, it's cold, right?
Right.
No, it's cold because of snow and everything, right? So you're used to it. People in Alaska are used to that. A lot of people don't know you can change that, but guess what? Doesn't matter. It's been like this for it's been like this for 100 years. Why are we going to change something? Don't fix it, right? Whatever.
Right.
And I mean, the same with every other place that you go in other states. But see, people don't do that with law. See, people did that with law, and they saw every law that was passed from the local to the state. to the government, to the federal government, a lot of people be pushing a lot of stuff back.
Right.
These officials, public officials put out. Because a lot of people don't even know their local laws, let alone know their state laws.
And is that to our detriment?
Say again?
Is that to our detriment that we don't know our state laws and city laws and county laws?
To an extent, I mean, it just really depends on the situation, and that's the biggest thing that works for the government officials. The situation is just that. It's individual. It's an individual situation, because if you don't live in a state, certain laws you can't vote for. Like, a lot of people don't even know that. Like, you have to be in a state in order to vote for like a local or state law. Certain states, people don't even know that. Or even when you have to be born there, people don't even know that either. I mean, there's interesting factors to that.
Yeah. See, and I think that's one of the things that's why I'm kind of really grateful that you and I are talking, because my show has been, it really started as a way for me to talk about, hey, y'all, I got some music I would love for y'all to listen to. And then I play a little bit of music on the show, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And then it kind of morphed, because I started having these interesting conversations with people. And I said, I can't waste this discussion. That I learned too much in this discussion for me to waste it on just myself. So I said, look, from now on, you need to come. The biggest one that put me over the top was, I was in Walmart, and a person who was born with both gender items walked up to me and struck up a conversation with me. And I said, this is too valuable. I said, would you like to be on my show? She said, of course. And so then we did what we're doing right now. We had about an hour 15-minute conversation, and she went into the whole story. I was so blessed personally, because somebody not only valued me enough to want to share the story with me, but now I've got this wonderful content. You know what I'm saying? And so it was, and I'm a church guy, and but I hadn't really talked military stuff, but I was really talking more church stuff. And then it became, like, during that conversation, that particular person. So here's where my growth came in, I believe. So this particular person, because she was born with both gender items, it made it so that she didn't have the same experience I had. I know what I am. When I go to the bathroom, I know what I got to do. I stand up to do one thing, sit down to do the other thing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to make no special bathroom for me. But this person had been dealing with so many things, because people, whatever, uneducated, whatever. When a person is different, there's persecution sometimes that comes right with that. Any different, sometimes, or whatever.
Correct.
Different than whatever
Correct.
different than what people are used to, that they are used to. Anyway, so that person felt the persecution even from church people, okay? And I think that's where the most hurt came from, was church people and some family, but not as much family as much church people. So I apologized to her on behalf of churches. I said, I don't know what they did. I don't know everything, but I apologize, on behalf of, fellow church people like myself. And we had a good moment, and I'm really happy that moment existed. And, I never did upload that episode either. Right? But I had it. That was, I was struggling as an interviewer, because I wasn't really interviewing. I was just having conversations. But it morphed over time. I thought it was just going to be, I was going to be a Christian rapper podcast. And a friend of mine kept saying, Matt, this politics stuff, man, we got to talk about it. And then I saw a TV show where the guy talks about religion and politics. And I was so happy about that because I see too many parallels, or not parallels, but I see how they intersect. And so for you to reach out to me like you did, I'm so grateful because I wanted to make this pivot to talking about these types of things. And now we're getting into, would this be considered world politics? What would you being from America, from North Carolina, what would it be considered that you're doing? International relations?
Oh, no, it's no. I mean, it's world. It's. I would say it's even above politics. This is the world as we know it. I mean, this is. I mean, politics is one specific subject they think because it deals with government. That's the only reason why they say politics. But public relations that can go either way. Really depending on how you're really dealing with everything. But mainly, what I look at when you want to say world politics is how the world is taking the information from the government and cultivating it and creating their content. That's really what I think world politics is in a nutshell. Because it's specific, but it's not really about the world. It's about the governments in the world. That's what I would call world politics. Now, what we're speaking on is definitely part of that. I'm not gonna shy away from that. But I mean, you could call it that. But I mean, this to me, what I'm talking about, it's a unique perspective because, I mean, I hate to say it like this, there's not very many people like myself, even though I'm not tooting my horn or anything, but it as far as knowing, or anybody knowing me even me personally, I barely know anybody like myself that goes around to more than 10 different countries, speaks a couple of different languages, and now I actually even have political relations and certain typical relationships that have government placement. And now I'm about to be outside of my country's governmental system to be able to support someone else's and possibly even create bigger and stronger relationships, which is it's kind of very interesting because, like I said, it's never been done, so I can't really talk about it because I'm not in that position yet. But I'm running for that position, which makes that very, very interesting for people because guess what? It's something new. And I know this is not going to be a learning curve for just me. This is going to be a learning curve for whoever is watching. Okay. And I think this will be something that'll definitely help people around me. And I believe that's one reason. That's one thing I definitely am loving about it too, is that I'm learning something every day, and then people around me, I'm getting really good substance, like yourself. I mean, you asking me certain things, certain things I never really pulled completely out of myself, but then it's like, wow, okay,
right.
I believe that's what somebody would really, really want to ask me, and I am not only have the answer for it, but I already have that clear understanding in myself, and that to me is amazing. So, yeah, sir. I mean, I take it one day at a time. That's how I live my life. I don't try to push anything faster than what it needs to be pushed unless God's trying to do that. And that's out of my control.
Right, I got you. So, look, and so regarding, this whole thing, is this basically like a typical regular campaign scenario where, hey, donate is that all? Is that stuff that, like, can you do you need donations like that in order to make this stuff work, or is it just kind of like?
Well, yes, I am. I'm doing that just to be able to not, because this is, I would say this is the Buka campaign, but I would be lying if I said that because it's growing a lot bigger than that. So this campaign, I actually am taking donations, but the only reason why I'm taking donations is because I believe that this shouldn't just be one country's asset. It should be a world's asset.
Right.
I'm, with my campaign, I want to go to America because the relationship that the country has now, Kyrgyzstan has with America, is very tarnished because of the lack of communication. And I definitely believe God put me as a pedestal or as an in-between, a bridge, as we call it, to be able to reestablish that and clarify a lot of the unknowns to the country. And bringing that brings that conversation. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's one big reason too. I'm definitely gonna love the position they're gonna place me in. It's because I can bring that back to the table, and I can show people that we don't necessarily just have to be a part of America in order to establish ourselves. We can be outside of America and still have a good life, a stable outcome. A lot of people don't believe that because, you have to be in your own country in order to be treated the best. And honestly, I can tell people straight up, that's a lie. That's just what you've been, that's just what you understand now. That's what you know. Nobody's going to fault you for what you know. But just like you go from state to state, you evolve and adapt to your situation. It's the same thing. It's just that it's going to be, of course, the language barrier is going to be a little different. But then if you think about America now, the language barrier isn't even a problem in certain places in America. Some people still don't understand Spanish, and they go into Spanish communities and then still can't talk to nobody, and then it's like, but it's the same thing when you go to another country. It's the same exact thing. You develop and adapt.
That is a good point. Well, here's what I'll do, because I this is such a. This is probably the greatest pivot that I've ever done. Right here. Talking to somebody about their campaign season, which today is the 15th of December. So one of the things that my intention is to try to make sure I do is, we've captured audio. So, I've recorded it. So what I need to do is upload this to my computer, do some editing, and what I'm going to do is, should we become Facebook friends? Is that easy to do? Like outside of email and phone?
Oh, that's no problem. I mean, I would love to do like a video conference too, so you can actually.
That's what I'm saying. We'll be able to do that.
You could be. Yeah. No problem. That's no problem. We can do that.
So,
and if you want to, you can follow interviews with me through my whole campaign from when I get into Kyrgyzstan all the way to when I get when I'm supported and stuff and share that to me. Yeah, no problem. I'll definitely be willing to do that. No problem. Too easy.
So the first thing now is there. The Hope Party is the Hope Party is that's where should people find? Okay, on the internet. Just direct me. How do I find all this stuff on the internet?
Actually, right now, just put in search. You can put in search right now. And your search engine on Google, because I'm not going to call it trending. I'm populating on Google. You can put in YMYT campaign, and you'll see me come right up. You'll see my GoFundMe. You'll see you'll see my GoFundMe. You see my
YMYT campaign. Oh, should I put a space?
And just press enter. Yeah, you can put a space in between. Just press enter, and you're going to see my name pop up. I got articles and everything, and I'm right on the first page.
Well, that's what you think you're on the first place, okay? It is the AMP playbook over here. Charter revision. The Why takes a long, hard look at divided America. Jacques Chirac. You put YMYT campaign. Oh no, I put Yankee Mike Yankee Papa.
No. It's Yankee Mike Yankee Tango campaign. Space campaign. And
the candidate.
Right up.
All right, so let me do
Yep,
this. Okay.
I come right up.
It's YMYT, Yankee Mike Yankee Tango, and I'm going to your Facebook page right now.
Yeah, and then you look down. I mean, I'm on MarketWatch.com, all these other ones, and you see my pictures and everything on here. So, yeah, I'm pretty much all around there at the moment.
Yeah, man, you know what you're doing. This is I'm sending you my in Messenger. I just sent you a link to my website, which has my my music, which I don't know if any Kyrgyz would like my music, but if there's any Curtis, no, not Curtis.
Well, I'll let you know. I have a production company in Kyrgyzstan, so I know all what you would call.
No. When you said production company, I did not hear production company like the way I wanted it. I heard production company. I said, no, that can't be. He ain't talking about no production company, music production. He ain't talking about that.
Yeah, I'm talking about movies, TV shows, record labels, all that.
What,
yeah,
man?
I actually helped them. I actually helped this country support hip hop in the country when it started actually bringing hip hop. So hip hop is pretty well known here now, and R&B. So I guess you could call me like a little. I'm not gonna call it a Puff Daddy or whatever, but I am a founder here. So I have really strong roots with the music here.
Say it again.
Well, that's what they kind of call me, because I know all the people that are what they call semi-famous here, the people that actually make money in the country for just singing and entertaining or making movies, short films. Yeah. They don't call me Puffy, but they treat me like him.
They treat
when
you
I'm
like
in the
Puffy,
country.
right? I got
because
it. So
because
you're not calling yourself Puff Daddy, but you are saying that you are a little bit puffy, and you got some fatherness to you.
Correct. I got some roots here that if you're doing anything entertainment, I can practically get you in the door. Like if you want to do a short film, full film, music video, you want to be part of rappers, singers, whatever, I already know the person to get it done. Technically, I do.
Wow. Well, look, you know what?
And they already know me.
Look, this is what I would love. Now, I don't know. Okay. For this next album I'm working on, I do not care if people are, quote, Christian like I have professed to be. And part of the reason why I'm no longer just only inviting Christians on my new album is because over the years I haven't had a lot of Christians giving me a bunch of, hey, here's a bunch of money to make sure your stuff's straight. Hey, we want to rock with you on, you know what I'm saying? So that I gotta go where people are wanting me, you know. When I show up, they're like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Not pushing me out of a church, you know, because I have been pushed out of a church before. So I got video of it. But I wanna work with unique, different, creative people. So if there's a way that, I mean, you hooked up with me through the Matchmaker.fm website. So I just sent you know, we're connected on Facebook right now based on your personal blog, right? And so I'll be able to kind of stay in touch with that. So that's one thing. And then, you know, you also got the YMYC campaign on YouTube channel, it looks like. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I just now subscribed, and yeah, look at this handsome guy right here. Look at you, man. Doggone it, looking like you straight from North Carolina, doggone it. I
appreciate it. Yeah,
I mean, you know.
I see you on here now. So I'm adding you as a friend, so that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, so you able to you talking about the Facebook friendship thing?
Yeah, I already saw it. Yep, I saw you, so I added you.
I see request. Okay, hold on. Antonio, boom. All right, now we in business. Okay, so we got the messenger thing going, and because I just love how Facebook acts like a phone directory, a directory of people who are on it. You know what I'm saying? And I need that because I'm old. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing all the younger stuff at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So now that we're like, to me, when you got email and then you got connected on Facebook, you almost don't need someone's phone number per se. But then on top of it, I got your phone number. I feel blessed. Okay? I got 3 points of contact with you, right? So I'm going to do my part.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. When I put this together, I like your cover picture. Is there a certain photo? Look at you on the mic. Is there a certain photo? Does it matter? Any of these photos? Does it matter? Any of these photos that would be good for? I got to give you an example of what I'm talking about. You know what? I'm gonna send you some of my interviews that I've done, so that you can see how
I mean, I could
you know what I'm saying?
I could send you, Matt. I could send you a picture you could use if you wanna do that.
Yeah. And see, and I'm looking on here. I see another picture, your military picture. What you? Is this your dad or is that you?
Oh, say again. Hold on 1 second. Are you looking on my campaign page?
No, I'm looking on your personal page, and I see a picture with a flag in the back and a white hat. I think that looks like the Marine hat.
Let me double check. See.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my. That was when I was in Dubai and stuff. I had a little car business and stuff.
You said car business?
We did exotic cars.
Really?
Bentleys, Rolls Royce, Phantom. Yeah. I just I thought it was a nice niche, and it wasn't really me, so I let it go. My friends wanted me to stay in it because we were making good money, but I just had to let it go. Personally.
Well, so
okay. All right. See, I see you on. I see you.
Yes.
I see you got the YouTube and everything. Okay, cool.
Now, so take a look.
Actually,
yeah, go ahead. Well, because the thing I was going to say is, the second video I sent you, the one that says money schemes are necessary, that's like a little sermon that I did, right? But you see how I put a bunch of pictures kind of in a collage? What I normally do is, like, if I'm doing like a little sermon, I will just hit record and I'll just go and flow and say what it is and read what I'm reading or whatever. Then, when it's over, I will find a bunch of pictures that sort of add to what I'm saying. Meaning, these people, I mentioned all of them at some point in that particular recording. You see what I'm saying? So for you, if you send me about 5 or 6 pictures that will sort of, people be getting to know you during this thing. I see, like already, making an image of the National Debt Clock, boom, on there. Making an image that shows your GoFundMe, and so that, people, you know what I'm saying? I see that image, me putting on there. So when I make the collage of pictures that will be static throughout the, throughout the video, at least it will be something that, it's like all of these pictures are ones that you don't mind people seeing.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds good. I mean, I could definitely send you a picture of me and everything else that you could definitely use, especially the ones I use in my campaign. I can send that. I'll send that over your messenger and stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm going to be having that actually too. I'm doing some shirts and masks too for the campaign. My campaign, like I was telling you, no promises, just results. So I'll definitely I'll send you one over, so you could definitely do that. If you got anybody and you don't mind promoting that, and I'll definitely throw one over to you, so people will see that. And if you don't mind putting on Instagram or there.
What I love is that, this type of, if you want to call it ambassadorship, it seems like not only are you representing America, but you kind of are also representing people who have a skin complexion that looks like mine and yours, and kind of representing us in that way. And then it sounds like you're also representing God, I guess. I mean, is the whole God thing, is that even important to you or whatever? Because no condemnation from me.
No, that's important. But see, I don't push that belief on anybody because, number one, there's so many different religious paths out there in the world that a lot of people don't even know, and some people don't even know until they fit it into their own lives. I'll just tell them my story, but mine is actually, I let people know is that anything I can do and what I'm doing, you can do as well. It doesn't matter the complexion, and it should never matter your complexion. The guidance of the focus of the individual is the most powerful thing that you should be looking at as an individual, because a lot of people always talk about what they do, but to see a man or woman, doesn't matter, to focus not only their thoughts and their patterns, their habits, their situational awareness, to bringing about not only change, but a purpose for somebody more than themselves, I think that should be celebrated.
Yeah, see, that point that you just made, that's one reason that I was happy that Barack Obama somehow obtained the Nobel Peace Prize after he was elected. And it's like, yes, he was the recipient. And I remember listening to right-wing radio kind of criticize him for a couple of months about, he didn't do anything and he won the Nobel Peace Prize. But he did do something. He became president with his non-white skinned self. That's an achievement.
Yeah.
you know, it's one thing for a white person to become president. I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, bless his heart, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't have any ill will towards him. You know what I'm saying? You know, obviously we have some different beliefs, so to speak, and Donald Trump, to a degree, has kind of divided some of my evangelical friends. It's kind of divided them, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, hey, he's saying stand back, stand down. People are good on both sides. Go get them and fire people who kneel for the flag. You're way up. So we got some different beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that you cannot deny in terms of him being successful is he went from being private citizen to president. And I don't want to just, I would hate to just think, oh, well, he was white, so he can do it. You know, obviously, you know, I don't want to think that way. But there's no Nobel Peace Prize in Donald Trump becoming president, or Bill Clinton becoming president, or, you know, George W. Bush, or George H.W. Bush, or Reagan, or Carter, or Nixon, you know, or anybody, because everybody is, you know, similarly mellow.
No, you're right, but see, this is the key thing that a lot of people miss and why he got that Nobel Peace Prize. And this is just my opinion. The details. Like, if you ask them, why do you think he got the Nobel Peace Prize? Let me tell you this. And you know, the first thing they try to blur out is, oh, he's black. I'm like, okay, all right, pigmentation. You got one piece of the prize. You got less than 10% of why he got the Nobel Peace Prize. What if I told you that? What if what if they sat down and thought about it? What if I told you that? Yeah, I don't know the whole reason why he got the Nobel Peace Prize, but it does go back to what I was telling you about with the Constitution. A lot of people don't know that.
Break it down. Keep going.
Deeper than what you're seeing on the surface, because if you look at the surface, you'll be wrong every time. Because it's just like what we call the internet right now. You know, we consume less than 10% of the internet. Less than 10% of the internet right now.
Wait, are you saying we utilize it? We utilize it like about 10% of what it's capable of doing, or are you saying we consume?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what
yes,
you're saying.
Sir. You have it right the first time.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Okay.
And people think it's ludicrous now.
That's what I heard in high school about. That's why I love the military, because in the military, this is what I learned in high school. Okay, I learned in high school. Somebody said we only use, and they mentioned some low percent, 5-10% of our brain. I said, well, what happens if I use 30% of my brain? You know, and that's and then I went to the military, and then I have been on my own personal journey of using more than just 10 or whatever low percentage of my brain. I want to use 80-90% of my brain. You know what I'm saying? And how come I can't use 100% of my brain? So that's the first time I heard that for myself. And then I heard also somebody say that these smartphones that we got now, that they had less computing power in the rocket that they sent back and forth the moon. That our smartphones are that, that whatever they did, whatever rocket went to the moon and back, I believe it made it back. I guess. But we have more computing power in our smartphones than what they had on that rocket. A space shuttle that went to. So I get you. I love using something to its fullest capacity. So are you saying that less than 10% of the internet capacity and ability and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Please keep going. I know I'm running. I'm just wow.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just just to put that in a really, really broke down perspective, and that's really what it is. I mean, people, us as Americans, we are surface people. A lot of us are, and then when we go deep, it's only because either we've been around it or we've been involved with it so long we can't do nothing but to go deep into it. That becomes experience, or what we call a specialist. That's how we get those notches in life. But then if you're not a specialist in it, you're just either making a hypothetical, not hypothetical, but you're making just an educated guess, or you're trying to see exactly what you can do for yourself at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't really see that when they start, or even when they actually process it. Some people don't even see it in their lifetime.
Right.
They don't even get an aha moment. I mean, that's really how it is.
I love that aha moment thing. I think that's an Oprah statement, isn't it? Aha moment.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, that's really how it is. That's really how it is, man. I mean, it's incredible that. I think it's just really up to the individual. That's why I always state the individual. I never really try to go into groups. Groups are just a collection of people that are trying to focus on either a particular need or force they're trying to understand. That's what I believe a lot of groups are for. So.
That's a good one. I just, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm overwhelmed. Let me see, how long we've been talking. You have given me
yes, sir.
more than 3 hours of one. You were patient with me while I had to talk to my cousin. And I'm gonna, when I lay all the recording out, I'm gonna debate of how much of my cousin talking I'm gonna leave in there. You know what I'm saying? So, and with a 3 hour recording, and what I intend to do is, if I make one big long YouTube video, and then over the Christmas time period, that's when I'm going to have a little bit more time and a little bit more internet capability, because I'm working on my cell phone Wi-Fi at this location, but I've got my other location that's got 2 routers going, and I got 2 or 3 computers over there. You know what I'm saying? So I've got a good setup to be able to do deeper things. So I'll be able to start breaking it up into choppier. All right, 5 minutes of this here, boom, 7 minutes. And you know, matter of fact, when I upload it to YouTube, you should be able to download it, and then you can chop it up too. You know what I'm saying? And add it to your Facebook, and add it to your YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. YouTube. I think when they got a YouTube downloaders, and that's what I sometimes will do. Like I was a news anchor for this the TV station, and so I just downloaded all the YouTube video, and then I'm making myself a music video out of me and my mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So that people know that I can do it if I need to. I like this because I'm just talking behind a picture, but this morning before you and me talked, I had done my first live. I was a guest on a Facebook podcast or Facebook show, and so, you know, I didn't even have my hair combed. And, you know what I'm saying? My beard looked rough, and you know, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but she's like, I need you to do this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So, you know, I'm gonna upgrade all my professionalism. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful that you spent time with me all of this time with me. So, you know, like I said, once I got it done, I'll, you know, upload it to YouTube, and then you'll be able to kind of like do what you got to do. But what I was going to say is that when I'm editing it to add all of these, it's going to be 3 hours. I don't mind having the static shot, but if you got a bunch of pictures and some video footage, you know, that, you know, some B-roll of you, I don't know, doing something in Kyrgyzstan. Some Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan, yes, correct.
So
Kyrgyzstan.
Maybe you got some Kyrgyzstan landscape footage. You know, something that I can.
Oh well, I mean, no, I'll definitely start having that once I get there. I mean, I'll be there in January, so I'll definitely make sure to send a lot of that stuff to you. Well, right now, you know, but right now, what I can do, I can send you a couple of clips that I have on my that have been on my articles and stuff. You know, I have one picture that was in Kyrgyzstan, but there is no background. I'm just reading books.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
then,
that way I can make it.
you know,
I can do a slideshow type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, you're listening, but then it's picture.
Oh, no problem.
You know.
Oh, no problem. I'll definitely do that, and I mean, you'll have something. You'll have something with that. I mean, my main thing right now, though, Matt, is just letting people know who I am. I mean, because I know that's going to be the biggest question, especially when I come out and you know, people say, okay, hold on, what is this? You know, is he really American? You know, or is he African? All these other things are going to be coming out that I know is just going to be speculation and uncertainty. And like I told you before, lack of knowledge. And until people actually really get to know me, then that's when that's going to come into like, oh wow, no, he's American, and you know, he's really doing what he's saying he's doing. He's not creating empty promises. And that's one thing I definitely want to keep.
Now, do you know who your opponent?
Like, you know.
Do you know who your opponent or opponent might be?
Well, right now, I can honestly say this, and this is why I think this is God-driven. I don't have any opponent because of what I'm doing.
So then, look, maybe, and this may sound ridiculous, but maybe, maybe at some point, maybe during the Christmas break, we can do a video thing, and then I can make up an opponent. I can be the moderator, and I'll get like a sock puppet like that. You know.
Well, I mean, typically, if you want to call them opponents, I mean, there's other parties that are against us. But I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, we have the running because we have the majority. So, I mean, I could give you all those names for those opponents and those campaigns or those people running the campaigns. That's not a problem. But at the same time,
my thing is, I'm ready to support you. I'm ready to support you, but like, you know, maybe, you know, like I love talking about party platforms. So maybe we could talk about all the party platforms, all the other people, because it's when you know what I'm saying? Like, we can go into all that stuff.
Oh, no, I'll definitely do that. And I'll definitely give people more of a, I don't want to call it education, more of a sense of awareness of what's happening and what I'm going through. Because, you know, I mean, America really doesn't know any other really political system other than their own. I mean, they know certain other countries that are similar with our language, but they don't know exactly how they, I'm not going to say run, but they necessarily support each other or even run these simple campaigns and everything. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So
yeah. So in other words, right now is has campaign season begun?
Yes. Actually, I finished registry this week. Once I finish the this week. I mean, I'm going to be full-blown campaign. That means I'm going to be on TV. I'll be on Al Jazeera, which is like it's like a news channel across the world outside of the country, the United States, that covers. They cover 170 different countries. I'll definitely be on that. So I already know I'm going to be a sore thumb because just me and the camera is going to bother them. So I already know that.
Really?
Because I mean,
you said you would be a sore thumb on Al Jazeera network?
Oh yes, I'm in Kyrgyzstan, and they never had a person of, well, I'm just going to say American, to do what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
I already know. I mean, I don't want to call it a spectacle. It's going to be a sight for sore eyes, and it's going to be a mystery behind me and around me. I already know that's just going to blow up to a proportion I don't even know what it's going to be called. I just told God, just guide me well, and make sure I don't fall on any unnecessary situations. That's it. That's all I want. I just want to make sure I do my best job, and I do the best I can for as many people as I can. That's it. That's all I want.
Well, you know what? This is what I do. I will pray, and that way you'll know at least that from me. I'm convinced, and obviously, I don't have the power to vote, but I do got the power to support you in the way that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I know where your GoFundMe is now. We're going to do this interview, and I'm going to do my best to add a little bit of to whatever momentum I can add to your scenario. I want to do it because I'm so proud of you. So, Lord, Father God, I really thank you for giving me an opportunity to not only meet Antonio here, but also to give me an opportunity to use my little meager little platform, Lord, that you gave me. Thank you, Lord, for giving me an opportunity to serve him in this area. So, Lord, I look at my service to him, and interviewing him on the show and bringing attention to his GoFundMe and, staying in tune with his, following his campaign the same way people follow sports. Count it that you've given me an opportunity to sow into his life. And, Lord, I know that that I'm really doing this unto you. So thank you for this opportunity. Father God, I speak and decree I decree over Antonio's life that he will be the most successful, that he will be so successful in what he's doing, and that he will behave himself wisely, and that the fulfillment of your will for his life, not only would he understand it, but that he would walk in it with such that he would fully be able to embrace and understand your authority that you've given him. Lord, I decree over his life that the words that he speaks, that they would be easily understood, and that there would be grace and wisdom and insight and power that comes from in all of his words. Father, I also pray, I also decree over Antonio that he has favor. I decree the favor that makes it so that it's not difficult for him to win the hearts and minds that need to be won. And that I also decree that his presence would not be repulsive. His presence, that whatever shock, whatever awe, whatever frustration, whatever challenge to people's minds, whatever is necessary, Lord, for for him to succeed at what it is that you gave him to do, Lord, let that happen in Jesus' name. And, I thank you, Lord, for him. And Antonio, thank you for reaching out to me. I don't even know how did you find me in the first place? I got to ask you, how did you find me in the first place? How did you find me?
Oh, no, I mean, I just went off. I went off the matchmaker, the one that you were looking at, FM, and yeah. I just, it takes work, So I diligently went through every profile. I read a little bit about them, certain things, and I did what my heart's content was doing. I just went at it, and I forgot how many I put up there. I know I put out a lot, but at the same time, I know that this isn't for just me. This could be for that young guy that was thinking about doing something overseas, or that young entrepreneur that wanted to make that first step, or even especially somebody like us, our pigmentation, or basically, a young black man thought about doing something outside of the world but didn't know where to start, or somewhere to actually somebody to look at, or something to really just focus on, or be able to take tidbits of information and be able to create their own, or cultivate their own future. That's really what I'm looking at it for, because I know once I make this step, you don't have to, and this is the biggest thing I'm going to say. This is the biggest statement I can say for what this platform is going, what God has brought to me with this platform. You don't need to stay in America in order to make it in this world.
Right.
You can be self-sufficient outside of what we call our homeland.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm totally in agreement, and man, I know personally. Go ahead, finish what you said.
Mm-hmm. No. Go ahead. I was going to say something after what you were going to say. Go ahead.
No. I go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, I was just going to say that right there. And that's one of the words I was going to say that could scare America. And if I really had the voice, or if I really had that voice in America, if I told people that, and America did what I just said, the government would totally have to be submissive to what the people.
You're saying if people, not just black people, but you're saying if people in America recognize that they can build a life outside of America, that America itself would be unhappy with that.
Oh, America would fall. The government would fail. Because the revenue in America is people. That's why we have that long behind Social Security number. If you go to any other country, they don't have those long those Social Security numbers like that. Our Social Security number is the number of a price tag. A lot of people don't even know that. Once you come to this earth, you come in debt. In America.
That is so true. I didn't know this is Social Security.
Just like I showed you that debt clock, it says every person, right? So every person that's born, that's your debt.
Look, I think that's
even got out of the womb.
Look, that's right. That's why I believe that abortion is like, I'm talking about evangelicals. They are like, listen, we need to stop abortion. They don't care about police excessive force. They don't care about poverty, homeless, or whatever, as much as they care about abortion. Because I think abortion is directly related to the national clock, the national debt clock. It's like every time somebody's born, I don't care if it was born to incest or rape or whatever, as soon as they come out, that's $83,000 right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate your statement. So I'm grateful for the time that we spent together, and I'm going to get to work on this. I'm going to, work on uploading this or whatever. My hope is that by tomorrow I can have this kind of like ready because I'm about to go somewhere that's going to have internet where it's going to be easy to upload. So I should be able to have.
Well, no problem.
And it's put together by tomorrow. Oh, so look, let me ask you. So why don't you say some closing words? Why don't you take as much time as you need? Say some closing words.
Oh, okay. I mean, really, just in closing, I just want people to know that the world is your oyster. This life is yours, and you as an individual should create your own purpose in life. Life is what you make it, not what life makes of you. And I think the best thing I think you can walk out with, I mean, and hopefully this is not just just one podcast. It's definitely going to be one of many. That you as a person are our future, and that's really it. Just live your life to the fullest and try to be the best person you can be. Not somebody else wants you to be, but you can be. And you will live a full life. That's all that should matter.
That is all right. Well,
that's really my closing statement.
You said my closing statement. So you all heard it here. Antonio Robinson from North Carolina directly to Kyrgyzstan. Good God. Okay? So he's got his, when you look at the graphic as well as in the description, you'll see all the different ways that you can support him, whether it's through the GoFundMe or whether it's through email support or sharing this video to different people. And yes, we in America, the reason why this is interesting to me is because, like you said, America is only this is only 30% of the world population is in America, and there's life outside of these 50 states and territories. And so he's a man that Antonio's going to. I guess he maintains his citizenship and his American citizenship, but he's getting ready to serve another country and bless them, and I say that as Americanness, but he's about to give some public service. And I always thought, man, public service, do it to the country. But public service around the world, wow. Fascinating. So thank you, Antonio, for your time, okay?
No problem, sir, and thank you for letting me actually be able to speak on behalf of the world and definitely of the people that definitely want to create this step and start something on their own. I really appreciate that, and God bless you for that.
M3dots.com. God on Radio. I become irresponsive to my feelings. I'm walking by decrees. Would it be am I decider? What a shell is what I see. It's hard to calculate the fullness and relate my faith and pull it in one definition. Put it like this: I've been birthed for many visions, each one a mission, full with provision to precision, to stick when I'm sitting to the harvest. Hark and listen. Line up on line, we'll build this precept as we stepping up familiar districts. So get set and get this. It's not about the limelight or thick checks. Anointing is where I get lyric strength, so I can speak to dead bones and make them crack the casket, pistol soil. Cause the word is like the oil flowing through this broken vessel like a lasso. Captivating, I wrestle with those vacillating with the text. I grapple till I have them in the kingdom. That's part of the agenda. Forcefully advancing, vigorous expansion of domain. Now my purpose was written in the fibers of my DNA. You see that, hey, I can't help but to be this way. You see this way and speak this way. Cause when I was the fetus in the belly, I was given this vocation and this administration. How could I mistake what the Rhema spake? Jokers wanna roast me like a steak with their religious thinking. So I'm walking
about my confidence or warranted deed or evidence, so I won't be hesitant in all my business. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. The mighty Ellipsis district doing the word. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. Free downloads at m3dots.com. The mighty Ellipsis district doing the word. Now when I with the finger of God banish spiritual wickedness that have inhabited people that won't deliver us, no doubt it is the kingdom agenda. In full effect, we came to wreck shop and havoc on Satan's kingdom, casting forth lightning, scattering the principalities and set up shop on my territory spot. Who am I? I govern, son of the Most High. I won't die till I handle all my Father's business. That's the mission and the operating system of my life. So all my thoughts become aligned with my destiny. Watch me make it. Those situations have a rise to try to buy me. I pull out the sword of the spirit and make her get behind me. I ain't stopping, it's my time to progress. Put on my battle dress, as it says in Ephesians. No time to stress, ain't no time to guess how to use my weapons of war. That's what my training's for, to get me all tactically proficient in this art of lyricism. Give me rhythm and I'm about to make a cut to prick a million folk heart. Cause I enter into your spirit with words of life and permeate the present mind state with the constant flow of challenges designed to make my listeners evaluate their present way of thinking versus scriptural opinions that balance out as truth. I got to do what I must without the fuss, so don't think that I'ma ever give up because I'm focused. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. The mighty Ellipsis district doing the word. Free downloads at m3dots.com. I must do the will of him that sent me. Free downloads at m3dots.com. I must do the will of him that sent me. The mighty Ellipsis district doing the word. I'm destined for success, no matter the environment. Stick me in the fire and I'll let you see the fourth man. Throw me in the jungle and I tear down all the trees and build a city and give glory to God. Now are you with me? Yes! Call me relentless, unceasingly shaking up the gates of hell, reminding them that they cannot prevail. Cause I'm clothed with the nature of the one that straight confound us. Satan should have of his power to get kicked around by me. Don't you know you can't form a weapon bad enough to stop this flow? This is my heritage, so back up when I get the flow. When I enter in the door, you best to recognize the authority, or you gon' make me pull out all my keys on my dunamis. I don't shoot to miss, that'd be ludicrous. Living outside of the covenant with a slave mind. No, I got the mind of a child of the King of Kings. Come into your area and bring the kingdom style in. I could take on 1,000 and make them all dash, and the rest will get smashed with my partners. Jump up in this, what the deal? Either have an ear to hear, listen, cause I'm talking in terms of the spirit, and I probably motivated you. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. Free downloads at m3dots.com. I must do the will of him that sent me. I must do the will of him that sent me. Free downloads at m3dots.com. The mighty Ellipsis district doing the word. Pulpit juice. Pulpit juice. Pulpit juice.